Alrighty, hello. We should officially be live. We are here. We are ready to recap week two as we are back in action here at TBL. It is I, your host, Commissioner Finfin, with my co host, co commissioner, and partner, Goldoa Dragon. Gold, how are you doing?
It's gonna be a long one today for me, especially I think, but I'm excited. It's fun to hear that people are into the league and want to get things done. Excited to battle, excited to get into it as quickly as possible each week. But yeah, let's go quickly over the agenda today because it is a little bit crazy. Normally, I'm hoping that we can do these recaps earlier in the week so we don't have them overlap with any battles. And what I expected was that Wednesday would still be early enough in the week. That has been proven wrong twice now out of two chances. So I'm going to stop assuming that. The problem is we didn't have our other battle concluded, or like week two battles concluded until less than 18 hours ago. So
I
there
blame
really
Joe.
wasn't another time for us to do this. So we're doing the recap stream. We are going straight from the recap stream into the first battle. That will be my battle against the London Shockwave and Addy right after the recap stream. It's the same stream. We're not closing and reopening. And then from there, we will be jumping into the next battle, which is going to be the Virginia Victinis taking on that's the Atlanta Victory Stars. Crazy. Taking on the Canadian Cerulages. Nope. Who's two? Who's the second one?
The second one would be the Atlanta Victory Stars taking on the San Diego
San Diego
Patrices.
Patrices. And then the last one is the Virginia Victinis and the Canadian Cerulages. All six of those teams that I named are playing in some order. They know their opponents. They've all prepped for the right matches. I'm still figuring out how I've got to do mine and stuff first. So, but let's get into the recap from week two before we talk more about week three and the chaos that's about to unfold.
Yeah, absolutely. Our first matchup of the week was the Chicago Phalanx taking on the Virginia Victinis. This week we saw Gawdbear come away with a 1-0 victory, and honestly, this was a lot of back and forth hacks. I mean, early on, Gawdbear getting a Will-O-Wisp to miss their Ting Lu, allowing them to take down the Skelly. Absolutely huge, as the Virginia Victinis were kind of in a tough position after that because hazards were able to go up, they stayed up, things were knocked off, and it just became a chipping battle. And the hacks then switched to the other side as some hurricanes consistently hit, consistently got confusions, and Mike began clawing their way back that we are one missed hurricane away from a full-on reverse sweep from the Tornados.
This is the recap, Joe. Don't worry, you haven't missed anything yet. We haven't started the battles yet, but yes, commentating that battle was crazy because it went from the Chicago Phalanx are in such a dominating position where they are so far out in front due to a couple of positive hacks going their way to maybe the Virginia Victinis can scrounge a point with some good hacks here. They'll need a hurricane to land and a confusion and another hurricane to land or whatever exact scenario it was into hold on, if they get one more confusion and it hits itself in confusion, which it did, then it's 1v1 right now. It was Tornadus versus Iron Valley, and Tornadus was faster, and if it landed a hurricane, it would just win the game. All of a sudden, out of nowhere for the Virginia Victinis, 7 hurricanes later, all of them landing, they needed one more. In fact, at that moment in time, I remember joking that it was a 70% chance for the Virginia Victinis to win the game. Coming back from 7 straight hurricanes landing with 2 confusions and hit yourself in confusions and a lot of other things that led to that point, so that it was definitely not a 70% chance if you actually factor everything in. But despite that, it was the team with the lower percentage odds in the last turn to win, Chicago Phalanx, who dodged the hurricane they needed to dodge and picked up the Iron Valiant kill for the 1-0 victory at the very, very end of the game. It was a crazy match. Highly recommended if you just want some hype reactions and absurd hacks, and just like all of us in the booth and then also the players trying to figure out what the scenario is that leads to each person not just scoring a point but actually winning the game, and seeing how they play that out is really fascinating. So
Yeah.
That was a really cool one to be a part of, honestly.
Yeah, it was a lot of craziness, and it at the moment felt like a lot of things could go so many different ways, but in the end, Chicago Phalanx walk away with 2 points, and Mike and the Victinis walk away with 1. But jumping into the next match, we have Our commissioners match, New York Empoleons taking on the Atlanta Victory Stars. Goldoa winning this one 2-0, securing 2 points. As ultimately, this came down to a little bit of an interesting role as the Necrozma was extremely bulky and in a bit of an interesting spot to where possibly clawing back depending on how things went. But ultimately, the big thing that was a impact here was the Staraptor. It just put in so much work. Nothing could really safely swap in on it. And if you don't have an answer for the Terraflying Reckless Staraptor, then it go and put a hole in your team.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the roster, I didn't bring the Corviknight, so no resist to flying, and that was basically my strategy in the early part of the game. And actually, into the end game, that Staraptor lived just long enough to continue to be an absolute nuisance for the Atlanta Victory Stars. And just keep pressuring to force switches, keep things from setting up effectively. That was really, really helpful. And yeah, it came down at the very end of the game to Iron Boulder with not as many Mighty Cleave PP as the Necrozma had Moonlight PP. And so, could I actually break through the Necrozma effectively? And Playmaker opting to go for an attack rather than go for the Moonlight allowed me to 2 KO and take it out and finish the game. But if that didn't happen, it was going to be an uphill battle for an Iron Moth with special attacks to come back against a Calm Minding Necrozma.
Yeah, and that's what was really interesting with this one is this was almost the second match that was greatly impacted by PP strategies. We see one later this week that we'll get to, but if they would have, I believe after the gameplay said that they weren't aware that Mighty Cleave only had 8 PP, and so in the moment, just thinking that it's outnumbered, I'm not going to drag this on, go for the attack, not getting the kill. But in reality, if they are able to just continue to click it, they can potentially outstall, get a Calm Mind off, get some more recovery, and things get really interesting. But in the end, ultimately, Iron Boulder was just too thick. Nothing was going to hit it that effectively, and it allowed it to secure the 2-0 victory for the New York Empoleons. Taking a look at match 3, we have my match, the Pallet Town Paladins, taking on the Venus Venusaur. This is the first iteration of this Sun team to have Walking Wake instead of the Iron Bundle, and it was a menacing presence in the back, but in the end, there was no answer for the Silk Scarf, Terra Normal Technician, Ambipom, and it just came in and clicked Fake Out a lot.
I can't really contribute to this. I don't think I watched this game. I stand by it. I'm actually genuinely unsure if I saw this one. Palatine Paladins do pick up the 1-0 victory for 2 points for them. The Venus Venusaur getting knocked down, but still scoring 8 points, importantly for the divisional experience. And I do think, even just like from a broad scope, I think that the Walking Wake is going to be a much more threatening mon than the Iron Bundle on a Sun team moving forward. So excited to see what the Venus Venusaur continue to do with that as they get more comfortable with the roster that they've put together.
Yeah, absolutely. And this match was a very intense one to where there were a number of positions to where it was just a question of, all right, it's your turn to pick a mon to die. There were some positions where Boyd had me against a wall to where I had to pick a mon to potentially just take the fall, and other times to where I had them back to say, hey, nothing's wanting to switch in on me. What are you going to sack? And eventually it just kind of went down to the last mon, and because of Life Orb Chip, the Walking Wake went down into Fake Out range, guaranteed to kill, so Ambipom was able to secure the victory for the Pallet Town Paladins. But more interesting enough, we've got match number 4, which was the London Shockwaves taking on the Atlanta Talonflames. This one was it was an interesting match, and as I alluded to earlier, this is one that came down to some very smart play from Addie. There were strong possibilities of her being able to get the win by doing a number of things. Addie took the safest path and said, hey, I'm not going to risk a potential crit or anything like that taking place. I'm just going to wait out the rest of your PP because she had figured out that the Entei was extreme speed choice band locked, recovering more than enough to outpace and ensure that at the end, the Entei was forced into struggle and could not break through the Cresselia, which has been proving to be just an annoying, difficult mon to deal with on Addie's team.
I mean, it's one of the bulkiest mons in existence, period. Addie is playing it very, very well so far in the early part of the season. And despite having a team with a Greninja and a Hoopa Unbound, two very strong dark types that can break through a Cresselia, the Talonflames were unable to do so. And ultimately, Addy does pick up the 3-0 victory um, and get 2 points for her. I have it marked in the sheet as a 1-0.
Yeah, I think I need to update this. This might have been
Because I don't think it was
incorrect.
3-0. It's the 1-0 victory.
This is what happens when I'm
She
having
had
to do a
she had
lot of
chance
matches
for a
at once.
2-0. I remember this moment. She had a chance for a 2-0. Cresselia was alive. Charizard was at like half. Niente was struggling, and she decided that instead of going for just getting the kills with the Cresselia, she was going to Healing Wish with the Cresselia to heal the Charizard to full, so it could get credited with the final kill of the game. So instead of a 2-0, it was a 1-0, which doesn't really matter in the TBL, which is why I do remember that being significant. And the Atlanta Talonflames do manage to pick up a point. Addy continuing a string. I don't believe she's ever had a win greater than 2-0 in the TBL, at least in the regular season.
No, but she also tends to play very much within control. She knows what her outs are and plays to the safest. And then if she's able to at the end, she will flex on you a bit, which I think is kind of what we see happen from time to time, to where it's like, hey, I don't need this mon. Let me go ahead and give this mon I want the kill.
Yes.
But jumping from that match into the next one, we have the Roman Polions taking on the San Diego Pachirisu. This match was the first one, I don't know in TBL's history, but at least since I've been around, that was not actually done live on stream just because of difficulties we had with commentators, thanks to the superb bowl.
What a superb owl it was.
Yes, it was a superb owl for the record books. But this match did take place. The coaches were able to record the match, and so we were able to rewatch it on stream. We saw Aaron come in with a very dominant performance, and honestly, if not for both a miss, or if not for a miss, this one would have been a lot worse in terms of the differential. Uh, Electing to go with the Mystic Power instead of Psychic Noise, allowing an Okidogi to survive on the 10% miss, killing the Uxie after it hit a gunshot, as Uxie was Terra Fairy. And from there, Roman Polions were still in a very strong position, but it kind of got a little spooky towards the end as there was a potential chance for the Urshifu to revenge sweep with both a full layer of hazards up and sticky webs.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, the Urshifu attacked the Ogre Pond, left it on like 1%. And I think at the time was still out of range of Jet Punch, but it needed to clearly click close combat in order to OHKO the Ogre Pond. And if it had done that, it might have been in range of Jet Punch from the Palafin. So very close to re-securing a point after the Mystical Power miss. It could have very easily been a 6-0 battle, though. So the Roman Polions do lose out on 1 point from that. The San Diego Padres is unable to pick up a point for themselves, but do prevent the Roman Polions from getting the full 3 points. And you will see how much that ends up mattering later in the season. But this game came down to a couple of misses, a couple of rolls, and very likely could have had a different result if things had gone differently. And a different result meaning the Roman Polions could have 6-0'd, or the San Diego Pachirisus could have actually won the game. So there was a lot of circumstances in which this game goes differently than it did.
Yeah, it was intense to the very end, but rounding out the week, last night we did end with the Canadian Sailorledges taking on the Boston Red Rocks, and this one ultimately came down to a number of decisions in the moment that hindsight is hindsight, but it was just very interesting as we saw some very unique sets planned and being able to show off, but at the end it just came down to Rhyperior versus the world, and Rhyperior put in work, but just not fast enough to be able to take all those hits and complete the game. So in the end, the Canadian Sailorledges pick up 2 points, the Boston Red Rocks pick up 1.
Yeah, I mean, the very big point for the Boston Red Rocks at the end of the game, they were down with, I think it was just Rhyperior and 4 Mons facing it down. And Joe managed to get 2 kills with it right at the end of the game to ensure that that point was picked up. But yeah, there was some really interesting. I mean, right off the bat, Goldengo was spamming Dazzling Gleam. Joe left a Hydreigon in. The Goldengo had a Color Berry. Like, it was a very high octane game from the word go, basically. These coaches absolutely came to play, and it was a really fun way to end week 2. But with that, the 2 points earned by the Canadian Sailorledges and the 1 point by the Boston Red Rocks, as well as everything else we've talked about so far, let's go over some of the standings from, or all of the standings from updated through the end of last week. In the Violet Conference, the New York Empoleon are currently the only team at 2-0, but have only managed to score 4 points, so not really breaking away from any of the other teams, which have all managed, or 3 of them, the Boston Red Rocks, Palatine Palafins, and the London Shockwave, have all gone 1-1 and all earned 3 points. They all also have a differential of -1, which is fascinating. So really hard to break apart who is second, third, and fourth right now. And there, again, 1 point separates fourth from first, which is the difference between making playoffs and a bye into playoffs. So certainly nobody has really broken out in this conference yet. The Atlanta Talonflames and Venus Swedish are both looking for their first win of the season, but both having earned points already this season, remain very much in the hunt. Pending certain results, the Venus Swedish could even find themselves in a playoff position at the end of this week. Meanwhile, on the Scarlet Conference side, we see the Canadian Sacrilèges have picked up their second win of the season. They've gotten themselves to 5 points, putting them in sole possession of first place in the Scarlet Conference, as well as technically sole possession of first place in the entire league. The Atlanta Victory Stars do have the 4 points earned from a 3-point victory and a 1-point loss, despite being 1-1, and sit in comfortable second place. And the Virginia Victinis with 3 points are in third. Everybody else is 1-1 with just 2 total points. So not managing to pick up a point on their losses and only getting a 2-point victory. Still, it is 1 game apart, separating the first place from the 6th place spot, as everybody in that conference basically is 1-1 right now. So tons to play for going into week 3, and we're going to have a little bit of clarity coming out of tonight, as 2 of the matches being played are matches just within the Scarlet Conference. So tonight is going to give us a lot of insight into where people are going to kind of shake out moving into week 3, or out of week 3, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of interesting things to happen still, but I feel like this is not uncommon for week 2. Whenever we take a look at the TBL standings, everyone's right there within each other. Even teams that have not yet necessarily got a win, they're only 2 points back, so in theory they could jump all the way past the current first place seed with just a solid performance. So that's one of the things that makes the point system very unique and kind of changes a lot of the scope when you look at the standings.
Absolutely. And moving forward now, looking at the transactions from week 2.
There are none.
All right, moving on. Nobody made any transactions moving into week 3 this particular time, but we'll see what happens as the season starts to get into sort of the middle of itself. That made no sense. That was a weird sentence. Anyway, quick updates here before we get into our coach interview. We are uploading all of the videos to the YouTube channel, Twitch Battle League. You can find it at youtube.com/Twitch Battle League. And we are going to make sure that the recap streams and all of the battles are uploaded. You're getting the full stream there, so it's not like broken up by game necessarily. So for instance, this one stream that we're doing with the recap and 3 games will all be in one video going over there. So whatever we do on stream is what we're putting up there for now. Maybe someday we'll have the budget to do actual editing, but for now, we're just going to get it up on that page. If you are not subscribed, go subscribe, because that's how we can keep justifying doing this. The other thing I want to acknowledge, because we are moving into week 3 now, which is the halfway point of the first half of the season. That's a weird sentence. There will be a bye week after week 5. I don't like calling it a makeup week because I don't want people to assume that they should be doing games during that week, but that is when we will do any makeup games that the first half has missed. So far, we're good on games, so we don't have to worry about it. If I get a week off, that would be the loveliest thing in the world. It has never happened before, so we'll see. But there is an intentional, non-planned week after week 5. So we'll do the first half of the season, a week off, and then the second half of the season. And so I just want everyone to be aware of that. We usually do some fun event or some fun like competition or online thing during that week if we can. We've played bingo before, we've done Pokemon Survivor before, we've done some other various fun silly things, so we will see what the docket holds for this season. We'll start making those plans as soon as we can, but right now just want everyone to be aware that that's coming up, so that nobody gets caught by surprise. But with that, I would love to welcome our interviewee this week 3. And that is going to be Gawdbear, coach of the Chicago Phalanx, a multi-season veteran of the TBL who has come and gone a couple of times now. Would you like to say hello and introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Gawdbear. I just do this. I just play Draft League.
That's
I
all you
mean,
do.
Yeah,
he's
that's my life
currently
right
in
now.
7, so yeah, that's all he does.
No. Technically, I'm in 5. Just 2 are starting up really soon.
Yeah, and 2 just finished.
Shush. Don't call me out like that. How dare you?
Listen, this isn't an interview, Gawdbear. We've actually want to talk to you. There's a lot of people who care about you, and we just want to discuss some things. So we'll share what matters to us. And I think I used the same joke on Mike last week when they talked about all the leagues they're in. So we're just getting all the addicts out here right away.
But Gawdbear, I do want to give you a big congratulations. So just a little bit of history in Gawdbear and the TBL. Gawdbear played in seasons 8 and 9, as well as now in season 12. Gawdbear, your win this season, well, whenever that was against the Virginia Bikinis, I think that was last week, literally like at the recap stream, basically. Was your 10th regular season win in TBL history. So congratulations. I don't know. It's
yes,
fun.
double
It's a
digits.
milestone.
I did it. I did it.
You've done it. But Gawdbear, famously with his TBL, sordid history with the TBL is the reason that we're level 100 now is to get Gawdbear back in the league. He just stood outside pouting for 2 seasons until I okayed a level 100 league again. He refused to play level 50.
I beat him level 50 myself.
But yeah, like welcome on into the call. Obviously, Gawdbear, you've been a caster during the seasons that you weren't participating, and obviously a participant in multiple seasons. So, give us a little bit of your background with the Draft League, with TBL, and broader than that. Sort of what does it look like? What does a week in Gawdbear's life look like right now with relation to Pokemon?
Week in Gawdbear's life right now. Basically, I go to work, I go home, I start prepping for like games, I eat in between, and then I'm just literally I eat, sleep, and live Draft League currently right now. I started playing Draft League, I think like 5 or 6 years ago. I started in a Showdown League. I think it was you guys, if you guys, it's TBL, so you guys know Daria, but she hosted a Showdown League, and I kind of got into that, and that's kind of where I met both of you guys actually through Daria's league, and that's also how I kind of got introduced to TBL as a whole. So that's kind of how I started and got here. So yeah, that's where that's come from.
Yeah, and now you've spread your metaphorical Draft League wings and gone off on all the leagues you could possibly find. Gawdbear, Finfin, and I have also been participating / not participating in a Radical Red Nuzlocke race. So
The wound's still too fresh, man. Come on.
Gawdbear does a lot of content other than just Draft League within Pokemon. So definitely check that out. But yeah, I just want to talk. I mean, we don't really have a script for these or anything like that. So how do you feel like the early part of the TBL is going this year for you now that we've gotten a couple weeks under our belt?
It's been an interesting development. The RNG has been atrocious on my end. Week 1, I got like destroyed because of like RNG almost outright, and then week 2, you could argue I won because of RNG. So it's like there's no it's just RNG every single game for me. It feels like so hard.
I
But
mean,
it's been fun. It's been fun. That's Pokemon.
That's the game we play, right? Like we
Yeah,
signed up for that. You had our first overall pick in the TBL this season as well. So how have you felt about Iron Valiant, which I know sniped like a bunch of people who just wanted to get to the chance to use it?
Iron Valiant, like I used it one time in a team tour for actually TBL, but I believe it was P4G, and I didn't like it, but I really wanted to give it another shot, and it's been surprising. I liked it week 2, but I hated it week 1 because that matchup was atrocious. Like that was like one of the worst Iron Valiant matchups I've seen like ever.
Iron Valiant is one of those interesting mons that like it's a true mixed attacker, and it's a glass cannon, and so like if you don't have a good offensive line for it, it struggles, but it is still so good when it has a good matchup that it's like can't be justified to put any lower, than like truly an S tier Pokemon. But yeah, I definitely can have some matchups where you're just like scratching your head like this doesn't work.
Yeah,
It's just not this month matchup.
that's literally why I let it week 1, because I was like, I do not. This matchup is atrocious. Maybe I could try and make it break something, do something, but this is just bad.
Give me your way too early TBL postseason bracket run and champion. Can't be yourself.
Who do I think wins the league?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I already know the 2 answers from each conference. There's no thinking about this for you.
So from the I forget the names of the conference, but the conference I'm not in, I'm gonna go with I think Addie wins that conference and probably the league, because I think she's like undisputedly like the quote unquote strongest player in my opinion. From my conference, if someone from my conference would, I would probably say Zach Mander.
Interesting.
He's like, Zach Mander is somebody interesting for me because like his team on paper is interesting, but like I've done a few leagues with him and I just think he's like a really creative builder and he knows how to pilot teams really well. He's an even bigger draft addict than me, guys.
Oh, good. So we're gonna have more interviews with people who.
So next week you guys should get him. You guys could get all the draft addicts back to back.
I have a feeling we might have some more in the
Maybe
league
the
as
whole
well.
league is just draft addicts. I'm starting to get a sense that
And maybe.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I think it's fun to speculate and look at things like this, especially early in the season, because you know on paper who you're afraid of, you know on paper who you think is going to do well or push forward, and yet watching people do these battles, like, they've been close, they've been stressful, you know, they've like even the best players make mistakes, so
Yeah.
it has been and obviously hacks can come into any battle and just rear their ugly head. So it has been already this season a really fascinating adventure into seeing some of the comfort and lack of comfort of players getting started in a new season. Do you feel for yourself that you've sort of settled into this team at all, or are you still kind of experiencing some of the growing pains of a new roster?
I think I'm still experiencing some growing pains, but I feel like that's also like my own fault for being in too many leagues. So I can only spend so much time on one team before I have to be like, okay, I cannot spend more time on this. Realistically, so that's kind of where I'm at. But I'm enjoying it for what I'm using it for so far. Like I had a lot of fun, even though I got destroyed week 1. I just fun times, and then week 2 I also had fun times because it's just like sometimes you just gotta laugh at Pokemon. It's Pokemon, you know.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely that's true. Honestly, like hacks be hacks, and
Yeah,
you could facepalm it a little bit if you want to, but you gotta accept if you're gonna play the game, you gotta accept that for what it is. Because if you wanted to play a game that didn't have that, you know, go play chess or something. Because
yeah,
Pokemon inherently is built with small percentage chances of things occurring.
yeah. I would not be playing Pokemon if I didn't accept those risks going into these battles.
And it is like, maybe you can speak more on this too, like having now been going through the Nuzlocke and seeing an enemy team and prepping for that and prepping around every possible critical hit, every possible move that I can see that they have, like, and then going back to Draft League, it feels so different because Draft League is like, well, I don't know which 4 moves you have, and I can't possibly prep for every crit, and I can't like play around every scenario ever. But it's like I want to now that I've started doing the Nuzlocke side of things, and I want to like be able to prep for those things. And it like makes me like more uncomfortable with the Draft League side, where you just have to roll with the punches more than perhaps a Nuzlocke.
Yeah, so I enjoy the Nuzlocke aspect of it because, like you said, you know how to you know what's coming, you know what to expect, and there is a certain element of prep you can prepare for that. But like even just like an AI in the Nuzlocke clicking the wrong move because it sees like kills or something like that on something you're not expecting, it could go wrong so fast. But in Draft League, you really don't know what 4 moves guaranteed your opponent will bring. I mean, you could make like pretty strong like guesses, like, oh, Iron Valiant, that's gonna run Moonblast, like, but like you're not gonna like know 100% what those other 3 moves are because it's a coverage monster. So like you could definitely like assume some moves, but like you don't know for sure, and that's the part like different from a Nuzlocke and Draft League, which makes it so fascinating. I will say when I was like going heavy into the Nuzlocke, because I've had to like take a little bit of a break because I've been so busy with my draft leagues recently. But like when I was doing that, I was like, this is so entertaining, but like it's so hard to like manage that. But like now that I've been going back into draft league really like heavy. It's been like I've been definitely out of my comfort zone for a few months doing that, but it's interesting.
Well, it definitely feels
Yeah.
like when you do a Nuzlocke versus Draft League. Draft League, it's more about a sprint, whereas the Nuzlocke, it's more of a marathon. To where Draft League, like, all right, I've got this one match. It's gonna be 30 minutes. There's a lot of things that can go hard, so I've got to just really focus and hyper plan for everything. Whereas with a Nuzlocke, it's more okay. I know everything. I can do long-term planning, but then you kind of go on autopilot mode, and that's when a lot of the danger happens. Is like, okay, I'm now in hour 3, 4, 5, 6 of the stream, and that's when things start to fall apart. And so I think it's just kind of a lot more of a, one is more quote unquote relaxed, but it's a lot more intense, whereas the other one is more of a, you know, gotta push through and get through it quickly and be ready for the high octane matches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I mean, and the other thing
100%.
about the Nuzlocke is you can sit there and plan forever, whereas there's a timer on every turn and a total battle for a draft league match. Like I will spend so much more time staring at the screen, questioning everything in the Nuzlocke. Whereas in a draft league match, sometimes you're just like, well, I gotta click it because I have 7 seconds left and I've thought about it and I'm not sure, or I'm not happy about it, but like I have to go for it.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that does add another layer. Um, but Gawdbear, give us your reason why you're done with level 50. This is your platform. I'm giving it to you right now on the TBL channel, where you can say anything you want. What makes level 100 superior to level 50?
It's twice as
Okay, so
good.
that yes, okay, yes,
More is
that
always better.
Just wait till level
okay, so
200 comes out.
okay, so I really like the level 100 because, for instance, if you go into the damage calc, it's like more convenient in that sense. That's one reason. Two reasons is like it actually changes like the numbers of the mines very different. Like I've had instances where at level 50 a mine would not outspeed a certain mine with Scarf, but at level 100 it would, and that makes it feel like a totally different game to me. It like just makes the game like way different to me, and it is just a hassle. And I've just really like when I used to like level 50 because like obviously I played in TBL like past seasons I've done level 50 before. I used to not mind it. I had never tried a level 100 league before, so then I tried it and it just felt like it felt so much more smooth from my perspective playing it. And I don't know, like I just whenever I would like play level 50, I would just like I would almost just sigh every time I would play it. Like I was not enjoying playing it. Like it was definitely like a big enjoyment factor for me. Like where I just was not having fun. It just was not for me. So it's
No, I
definitely
think
more
that's
of like
important.
it's definitely
Sorry, go
more
ahead.
of like a okay, my bad. It's definitely more of like a me thing. Like there's nothing inherently wrong with playing the game at level 50, and I'll never like judge people for playing it that way. But like for me personally, I would rather just not play it at that level.
Um, and it's really interesting because, one thing I love about the draft league space is that there is so many leagues that there's space for everyone to find something that they are happy with. And, find the community and the rule set that makes them the most excited to play the game. You can go to NFE or Ubers or level 50 or level 100 or Showdown or Wi-Fi or different timer settings, different like we use points. Like every league has its own ban list, and tier lists do not, converge as much as they probably should, given the nature of a metagame that people have kind of been figuring out for a long time. So it is a really fascinating thing to hear from someone what their reasoning is to why they play the leagues that they play. So I'm always interested from anyone's perspective, and I would love to get the perspective of somebody who's like, I never play Wi-Fi, and here's why. Because I'm almost exclusively a Wi-Fi player at this point in my career. I've sworn off Showdown because I don't enjoy it for the same reason. I would get to a battle and I would just sigh and be like, well, I have to do this now, or I would just not prep as hard because it just didn't feel as like I wasn't as connected to it. I don't know, something about the Wi-Fi situation. So I understand what you're saying totally from like obviously a different like aspect of the draft league community. But like one thing I love about it is that there is the space for everybody to find the thing that they like.
Yeah, I mean, I swore off TBL until level 100, or like until you guys level 100 became a thing, obviously. But I was never gonna like be like, oh, that's the wrong way to play the game. Like everyone should play the game however they want. I definitely dabble in Showdown and Wi-Fi. I'm definitely more of a Wi-Fi person at heart, but I do dabble in Showdown as well. So like I
Well,
enjoy both, but
I was gonna say,
yeah.
I think one thing that's an important context with it is it's not like you're only doing TBL. Part of it is also because of how many leagues you do. If you're going to devote more time or energy, it might as well be into one that you're more comfortable with and more enjoy. And so, having to take on an additional league when you've already got 4 or 5 others that you may be going on with, it's like, all right, I'm not going to enjoy level 50 as much, so I'm just going to dedicate the energy towards, say, level 100. But hear me out. Next year, TBL, we do level 5.
Yeah, I'm
Would
down.
not be the first time. In fact, we did a season where we did Little Cup level 50 and level 100 in the same season.
No. All level 5, fully evolved mons. All of them just level 5.
I'm gonna love trying to generate Ursaluna Blood Moon at level 5. That's gonna be a really fun time.
Getting anything at that level is going to be a nightmare.
I think at that point we just have to switch to Showdown for one league.
And we have to play on custom game like every game.
Yeah. Would you allow Pokemon that evolve above level 5, or they have to be Pokemon that could have evolved by level 5?
All Pokemon are allowed.
They just are level 5.
They're
You
just
gotta
level
go
5.
back and find like that level 3 Salamence from Sword and Shield.
Oh my god. No.
What was that one theory about the whole thought as to whether or not in Red and Blue you kill your rival's Raticate because of the fact that they don't replace it and whatnot, and someone disproved it based purely off of the Poke theory of like, hey, no, you can only their Raticate was Eradicate before this level cap. You can only do that if you catch a wild one, so they just caught a different Raticate.
In theory, I think level or Gen 1 being on the Virtual Console and with all the glitches might allow for a majority of at least Gen 1 Pokemon to be caught under level 5.
Yeah.
So
it would
there are
be
a surprising number
interesting.
of Pokemon that can be caught quote unquote legitimately, or at least on real hardware at low level. But that is not necessary. This is not a discussion that we are doing for the TBL moving forward. Just a heads up.
Oh man.
I was gonna say, if we're gonna
figure out how to get a legitimate Pokemon in the game at level 5 for the entire Pokedex.
I was gonna say, if we're gonna start off with any fun alterations, I think the first thing we would want to do is not require the mons to be level 100. So if you want to bring a level 1 Aggron, feel free.
My sturdy counter.
Exactly. run that shell bell mechanic.
Oh, true. Pokemon Go would be another way to get them all low leveled. That's a good point, Mike. But I think it is 4:20. Nice. And we are going to shift gears now. Gawdbear is going to stick on for the foreseeable future now, as I am going to be the one dipping a little bit. We are going to conclude the recap stream here. Thank you, Gawdbear, for joining as our interviewee this week. Is there anything else you want to say before we truly shift gears to finish it off?
No, we covered basically everything.
Okay, so then we are going to... Finfin and I will both go pretty quiet moving forward for a little while, but just as a really quick last thing, we'll do the schedule of who's playing who this week. And we have tonight, right now, myself, the New York Empoleon, are about to be taking on the London Shockwave. That is going to be followed by the Atlanta Victory Stars taking on the San Diego Pachi Risus. And then right after that is the Virginia Victinis taking on the Canadian Cerulages. So half of the league is going to happen right now in the next couple hours. Tomorrow, we have the Atlanta Talonflames taking on the Roman Empoleons. Friday is the Venus Ouijasaur taking on the Chicago Phalanx. And on Sunday, our final game will be the Palatine Palafins versus the Boston. Is it Paladins or Palafins?
It's Paladins. So the Paladins was before Palafin. Well, so
I've got it wrong on the dot. But...
Well, so what it is I have two logos that I've occasionally used. This is the first one I ever had where it was the Palatown Paladins back during Gen 8, so before Palafin was a Mon. And then after the next gen came out and I fell in love with it, I made a second one, and that's the Bloodhaven Palafins.
Got it.
So
So the Palatown Paladins, excuse me, I had it wrong on the doc. It has been corrected. Are taking on the Boston Red Rocks, and that's going to be Sunday. You can see the times on your screen in Eastern Standard Time, but obviously convert that to your own local time zone. Tonight, this first match is going to be commentated by Dark Devil 26, who was here in chat with us, is now going to be joining the call shortly, and Gawdbear. That will be my battle against the New York Napoleon versus London Shockwave. Right after that is going to be myself and Fin commentating, and then at the very end it'll be myself and Alice commentating. So I'm gonna give my voice a little bit of a break for the next hour or so, so that I don't have to just talk for 4 hours straight, and I will let the rest of the crew take it away.
by rest of the crew, he means you two. It's entirely in your hands.
You're talking to us. Oh. Is Dark Devil here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just making sure he was all settled and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got the New York Empoleons versus the London Shockwaves here. Question is why does it say he's 0 and 2, Fin? Is that correct?
No, I gotta change that. I had to do all these today, and I think this one got carried over from a different match. So let me.
Fine. That's why I stopped. I was like,
Oh,
did we just win?
I think I know what's happening. It's an OBS issue to where it's the same on every slide because it's a quote copied image. So I'm gonna have to go back and fix that later. But anyway, I'm updating the stats for them right now.
Okay, all good.
I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go get water real quick.
Okay, I'll just go over the teams and then I guess we could hop right into it.
Yep.
Okay. So on the New York, we have the New York Napoleons with the London Shockwaves, first in Violet versus the third place in Violet. For the New York Napoleon side, we have Spy Dots, Iron Hands, Primarina, Iron Moth, Terra Frostmoth, Skarmory, Meowscarada, Terra Staraptor, Dawnfan, and Iron Boulder. And from the London Shockwaves perspective, we have Weavile, Tinkaton, Terra Lilligant Hisui, Cresselia, Ninetales, Hatterene, Raging Bolt, Terra Charizard, Vileplume, and Great Tusk. So what do you think about this matchup, Dark Devil? What's your first thoughts about this matchup?
So I'm looking at the teams right now, and Sun team is really interesting coming over from the Shockwave side. I do like Sun a lot for their team. Like the one thing, in my opinion, that stops Sun is that Iron Boulder. Like Iron Boulder really beats a lot of Addy's Sun abusers, barring Great Tusk. Like Charizard, depending on the Terra type, Iron Boulder can run through it. Ninetales, Iron Boulder can run through it. Iron Boulder runs through a lot of Addy's team. So Addy's going to have to play very carefully around the Iron Boulder. But coming in from the other side, I do really like Great Tusk. Great Tusk also does very well. Same thing. I think those are by far the two biggest threats on each team. Like Great Tusk can run through a lot of Gold's team. Aside from maybe like the likes of Skarmory, the likes of Meowscarada, and Primarina will be weakened by the Sun. But yeah, what do you think about the matchups?
I agree with the Iron Boulder take. I do think Iron Boulder probably gets Solar Blade, so I could also see Gawdbear like teching on Solar Blade to hit that Great Tusk. I think Addy's been really leaning towards that Charizard, so I could see like a Terra Fire Charizard, and Iron Boulder doesn't like have the best SpDef, and with Solar Power boosted, it's probably even gonna like I feel like that Primarina or Iron Hands probably both have to be AV or like one or the other. I would also be careful from Addy's perspective about giving gold to Sun, because Iron Moth is a very powerful powerful breaker, and I feel like Addy does not have a lot to like really switch into an Iron Moth, because it just gets coverage for like everything. Like, it even gets like Meteor Beam for the Charizard, so it's just like, what do you even switch into it? Like, probably Cresselia. But that's basically, and I think Meowscarada also has like a really good speed tier here. So like, I can see like a Scarf Meowscarada for booster speed rate test potentially.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I definitely think that I agree with all your points, but I think Primarina, honestly, I don't think Primarina comes this game, if I'm going to be honest. I don't like looking at I don't like Primarina's matchup at first glance. Like, Primarina has to deal with things like Raging Bolt, like Hisui and Lilligant, maybe a Terra Charizard, depending on the type. And yeah, no, so that, and plus the whole Sun thing, Primarina doesn't like that too much. So I definitely think Primarina like has a really reasonable shot of not coming this game. So I definitely think that Addy can prep around the fact that Primarina might not come. So I think just something to keep in mind.
I definitely like agree that Primarina has a very bad matchup. I think if I'm Goldora though, if it were to come, it would be for Weavile, but you also have a Skarmory, so honestly, yeah, I agree Primarina probably doesn't show up. But I think for me, like what I'm looking at is like, if Frostmoth could get set up, and it could probably win. And I feel like the exact same thing about Addy's Lilligant, or just using Charizard to break through Gold's team, because I don't think Godoa has much for that Charizard.
Yeah, depending on the Terra type. Like, I'm looking at potential Terra type options. Fire is definitely a good one.
Oh,
I could also see, like you said, Fire is a good one.
also, by the way, I don't think we got their teams, so hold on.
I've got them. I can send to you.
Oh yeah, can you please send them to me? Because I was like, we're supposed to have those. I forgot.
1 second.
Okay. Yeah, but
Yeah, Terra
think,
Fire Charizard looks really good, in my opinion. Another type
Yeah.
I can kind of see maybe coming under the radar a little bit is Terra Ground, for the likes of like AV, Iron Hands, Moth, the Iron one that is not the Frosty one. And just things like that. But I definitely see Terra Fire Charizard like doing a lot of damage in terms of wall breaking, because like, look at Gold's team. He doesn't, the really only thing he has for Terra Fire Charizard is AV Iron Hands, if I'm going to be honest. Like, Donphan has 30, but what's it doing back? Like, yeah, it goes for Rock Move, but maybe Gold brings a type. I mean, maybe Addy brings a type for Charizard that resists Rock. That's why I think Ground might be an option. So,
yeah, I think Ground is very likely from Charizard too. Like, I guess you get weaker to Meowscarada, but I don't think Meowscarada is like super threatening, because I feel like Addy has a really good Meowscarada check in Tinkaton. So I think it just depends on like how each of these players want to play their offense and their defensive pieces, and it's gonna kind of determine a lot. But
absolutely.
I'm good to get into the matchup if you are.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for telling them the search. Okay. So we see no Iron Boulder from Gold.
Which is very interesting right out of the gate.
Did he send you the teams, by the way, or no?
He sent me the teams, yeah.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. And we also see from the layout, no Charizard, which I'm very shocked
That's
about.
very surprising. And I also see a Primarina, so maybe they'll, like, I don't know how this matchup's gonna go, because the two biggest threats aren't coming, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I'm very shocked by that. Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm very interested in bringing Skarmory and Primarina. I mean, I guess maybe you from Gold's perspective, you're like, okay, well, Moonblast is pretty spammable versus this team outside of like Ninetales and Tinkaton, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see the Primarina vision. Maybe he thought Sun wasn't coming.
Yeah, maybe. Another thing that interests me. Okay, so now we see the full teams. As you can
Yeah.
see, what do you think could be a potential lead here for each side?
I would actually. I think if you're Scarf Primarina, then I would honestly lead Primarina because I think it has a very bad matchup, and you could flip turn on basically anything. You could, if I'm them, I'm either predicting like a Tinkaton or a Ninetales lead.
Yeah, no, and
So-
from Tinkaton or a Ninetales lead, that's get the sun up, get maybe some rocks up. And on Gold side, maybe you lead something that beats both of those and lead with something like Iron Moth.
Or a Dawn Fan, to be honest.
Or a Dawn Fan, yeah. One of the two.
Because if you think rocks are going up, then you want to lead Dawn Fan. But we're leading Iron Moth. I mean, we are, from the item you see, it's Power Herb, so it's definitely Meteor Beam.
Yeah, so Gold locked in his team. Now we just wait for Addie to lock in hers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm very excited, looking forward to this game. How about you?
Yeah, I'm very excited for this matchup too. I mean, Gold versus Addy is always a classic battle. So like, these are two really high level players, and I'm very excited to see like what kind of battle they show us here. Oh, Primarina does get Weather Ball. That's a good shout, Mike.
All right, and
Show how
here
much-
we go.
We in this.
Mhm.
What are we leading? What are we leading?
We're leading the Raging Bolt.
Okay.
And we called the Iron Moth lead. So
Yeah.
So what do you do here if you're Gold, seeing that there's a Raging Bolt right in front of your face?
I am hard swapping out if I am Gold right now, and I am
As
going
you can
straight
see-
into this Iron Hands.
As we can see, the Iron Moth actually has Fire Dance, Dazzling Gleam, Sludge Wave, and Meteor Beam. But I think it might be too early for Gold to take a lot of damage with Iron Moth, considering how important Iron Moth is for Gold's
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, I think you definitely probably just go into AV Iron Hands personally.
And then the Raging Bolt has Draco Voltswitch, Thunderclap, Dragon Tail. So yeah, I'd say the Iron Hands is a safe switch.
But we see he just raws Dazzling Gleam. I mean, it worked out because I guess like from his perspective, you are always predicting the Volt Switch. So like it works out for him, but like you definitely took some chip on Iron Moth, and that's not the best for you, I think. But it's a decent trade for Gold. It's not like I wouldn't say it's like a great trade, but it's like a decent trade.
I would be inclined to agree. Like we said, Iron Moth is kind of important this game, but I can see Gold's logic in getting chip on the Raging Bolt in any way, shape, or form being important.
Yeah, because I think Gold probably wants the Raging Bolt chipped for a potential like end game with one of his Scarfers, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe he's just trying to like chip things down in that regard.
As we see the Great Tusk coming out, and if I'm Gold, I'm getting out of there. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I am not staying in. For me, like a Great Tusk coming in Iron Moth, that looks screams AV. I mean, we know it's not AV, but Gold doesn't know it's not AV.
Yeah, if you're Gold, Skarmory seems pretty free right now with the helmet, or you can go Donphan here and just take a hit, but then you lose your Sturdy. So
I think Skarmory is a very interesting play from Gold side if he goes to it, because if Addy like clicks like the ground move, then Temper Flare actually gets boosted because the last move failed. So that could be like a really interesting little interaction. But we see that Gold goes Donphan, so he does not fall for that.
Yeah, Gold is going Donphan, and that's really good awareness on Gold's part to be sure that to check all the moves and make sure Great Tusk doesn't get any moves like Temper Flare to hit Scarm.
Yeah. We see a double. Ooh, spicy.
And then we go back into the Raging Bolts. That was actually a really good play by Gold.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Donphan doesn't really want to take a dragon move, so it doesn't have like the best SPDF. But I do think that was a really good double on his part. because like nothing really wants to switch into on a knockoff. I feel like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I know, oh, and here comes the Draco, which we know Donphan will live because of sturdy, but it doesn't actually bring it down to sturdy.
Yeah.
So, and so he is a jetpack. Ooh, that's some good tech.
Yeah, a jetpack Draco. That's an Addy classic. Addy loves those jetpacks. I feel like. We see so really good. Okay, I thought he clicked knockoff for some reason, but he's clicked the earthquake, so Addy gets that read right.
Yeah, so now Donphan took damage for essentially nothing. So
Yeah.
you got to be careful if you're gold here, not to lose your Donphan because that's your spinner. You can't, and I'm assuming Addy has hazard setters, so you can't. You don't want to lose your hazard setter or hazard removal option.
Yeah,
Because
not at all.
Tinkaton can come in and get up rocks later on. But that is actually what's going to happen, as Gold is going to let Donphan go down.
Yeah, Donphan goes down. Addy gets first blood in this game. Gets close to getting some of those points. And Gold has to kind of like, how do you deal with Castelia here? Like,
Looking at Gold's team, I definitely see you gotta get chip on this thing in the worst possible way, so something can come in later and just clean up. But what do you even get chip on? Like Staraptor hits pretty hard. Staraptor can probably take a hit, but otherwise, what do you do if you're Gold here?
For me, it's just like you go Staraptor, right? But they could just Moonlight, can't they? And like then you're just like chipping yourself down. So I'm kind of struggling to see how Gold really like breaks this Cresselia right now. I mean, he could definitely do it with like, because he does have like, oh, he doesn't even have Encore anymore. Like, yeah, this is gonna be rough, I would say, to like try and beat Cresselia, but that's Cresselia for you. It just doesn't die. It just doesn't die.
Is one of the most bulky Pokemon in existence, and it is very fat. So
yeah, and I don't even think Final Gambit kills.
I don't know the exact kills either.
I don't know the exact HP values because I'm not researching it, but I do not think Final Gambit kills. I think it does.
Final
like,
Gambit definitely does not kill.
It probably does like 70% or 75 or something like that, but I can Chris lives that easily.
But as you can see, we do see the U-turn gets a reasonable amount of chip off on the Cresselia, and with the crit. So we'll see what Gold wants to go into here. Maybe predicting another Psychic, an Ice Beam.
It's probably gotta be like, oh, okay. We're going play Marina here. Yeah,
there's the Moonlight, like you said.
I think Addy should be careful here. Primarina does have access to the move Encore, and you don't want to get Encored into Moonlight. I mean, we know Gold doesn't have Encore, but like, I think if I'm Addy, you gotta respect the Encore play from Gold. So I think if I'm Addy, I am switching out here.
I would be inclined to agree. I think Tinkaton is a very, very free switch-in right now for Addy.
Yeah, I agree.
But they're gonna opt to stay in as Gold goes for the flip turn.
Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe Addy's probably gonna click Thunderwave or even Psychic, but like I guess Primarina doesn't beat Crest unless it has like Psychic Noise or Encore. So Gold really having trouble trying to get some footing in this game and break through this Cresselia.
As we can see, we see Skarm coming out, and there is the aforementioned Thunderwave.
Yeah, now Skarm
Gold is really struggling here.
He's really struggling to find any kind of footing. Like he cannot get any momentum going in this game. Like it's just looking pretty rough from Gold's position. Like if I'm Cresselia, I'm not even scared of the Skarmory.
Correct, but we're gonna see a swap in anyway, probably just to see Crest later on in the game. But here comes coming out, and that is the Ninetales to try and get up the Sun.
Yeah, the Sun really is going to amplify a lot of stuff, and Addy was smart to get the Ninetales in before the rocks actually went out, so you don't take those the rock damage. And you all
now we see, and as we can see, Ninetales is actually Heat Rock, so the Sun is going to be up for a very long time.
Yes, that is correct. We see we see gold go into the Iron Hands. I mean, Iron Hands is a decent switch in here, but like I feel like if you're Addy, you don't even stay in. Like you could probably
Predict the
baton
bubble.
pass pretty free. You could baton pass honestly freely too.
Mm-hmm. And we are going to see the baton pass. So, yep, good call on your part.
Yeah. And now Addy could go into I mean, looking at Hisui right now, actually, or Great Tusk, that too, both kind of look very strong, and I don't see what gold really will do.
Yeah, gold doesn't really have a switch into this Great Tusk unless gold wants Skarmory to take chip, which I don't think gold wants in this spot in the
Yeah.
game.
We're gonna fake out to like waste one sun turn, which is, you gotta, if you're facing a sun team, you want to like waste as many of those turns as you can. So I really think Addy will just click the obvious ground move here because of the aftermesh and like temper flare. It's really a zero drawback play, I feel like, from Addy's perspective.
As you can see, we do see the Skarmory coming in on gold side. Yeah, so, but we got it. Gold has to be careful because Temper Flare can do a lot of damage if in the event that gold doesn't know it's coming.
Yeah, and the fact that, like, I mean, I don't think you ever go Staraptor here. Obviously, we saw him go Skarmory, so, like, I feel like the ground move is, like, a really safe play from Addy's perspective.
Yep, so as we can see, we do see the Skarmory incoming. Now, do we see an Earthquake or, Headlong Rush? And we do. So that means Temper Flare is going to be coming out here most likely if you are Addy,
Yeah.
I would assume.
And I believe Temper Flare gets boosted if your previous attack fails. So it's actually going to be doing a lot of damage here.
Gold has no idea what's going to hit him.
Yeah, I mean, Gold could predict the Temper Flare, but, like, I don't think that's something you could really, like, you can't switch into this thing right now is the thing.
And there it is, the Temper Flare, like we said. And oh my goodness, that did a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's boosted in the sun.
Yup.
And
Yeah,
now your
there's the Whirlwind.
Now your Skarmory is basically dead.
Yep.
And, like, sun is still up, so, like, unless you go into like Ninetales, I don't know, is that, like, even good for you?
And that is a one Hisui and Lilligant. So Addy doesn't know that gold has no flying move. So if you're Addy here, do you just finish off Skarmory?
I mean, yeah, I think you just take the kill. I mean, you have no reason not to. And, like, Gold literally has zero switch into this thing, so
No,
I-
zero.
I would honestly, like, put Solar Blade if I'm Addy, I think. Because I don't think you really could afford to switch anything in. But, like, Close Combat is free as well. But then you could maybe... But, like, you get no information from if you're gold, so you really can't even bring Primarina or, like, another mon in. And since you're Chlorophyll, you're going to outspeed everything. Like, it's going to be a really rough situation for gold to see how he could try and, like, play around this.
Yeah, and as you can see, we do see the close combat, and the Skarmory goes down. After some Rocky Helmet chip.
So Addy up 6-4 on gold. Gold's got to keep fighting to get some of those points, but Addy is I think she's 1 kill away from a point. She's 1 or 2. I'm bad with the points, but so we know as commentators that Addy's Lilligant is choice banded. So Primarina is actually a good play here, but Gold has no information on that. So, like, going into, like, a CC resist is just
It's going to do tons regardless.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know if Iron Hands might live this, but the Lilligant is strong.
Iron Hands is very fat, so it could, in theory, live a close combat. And then I don't think Lilligant will take play rough too kindly.
Yeah, probably not. But I think if I'm Addy, I almost would just click it because, like, you could just get, like, a solid, like, 75% on Iron Hands, and then that thing's just, like, basically neutralized.
As you can see, Gold did go for the Volt Switch expecting a switch. So either Addy's going to switch and something's taking a Volt Switch so Gold can potentially get back in this game, which is exactly what we're going to see here.
Yeah, I mean...
Into the Tinkaton.
you get some momentum, but like I still feel like it's just really rough. Like, what do you even? I guess you could go into Iron Moth, but Iron Moth will take rocks damage.
But we're actually going to see the eject pack, so another
don't give
one.
you
So
don't
Iron
give
Hands isn't
momentum.
even coming out. Yep. What a bring by Addy.
Addy is just holding on to that momentum. And once again, now you really do not switch into Great Tusk. Like, what do you even go into here? I mean, I guess it probably has to be like Primarina, but I'm not even sure if Primarina lives.
I
It
think
might.
Gold has to essentially pick a sack here.
Yeah, he probably has to pick one.
And I assume he's choosing to sack off Iron Hands by the looks of it. But Gold actually predicts it correctly and actually gets off a play rough, which is actually a really good play on Gold's part.
Yeah. So Gold does not get 6-0'd. He gets a kill. That
The crit definitely mattered.
See if the crit mattered. Probably it could have mattered. Honestly, I don't actually know. Great Tusk does have really good natural bulk, but you never know. I think Addy was actually trying to just go for a game at that point, which is fair, honestly.
Yeah, that's very fair. And as you can see, the Ninetales is coming back out, and the sun is back out once again.
Yep. The sun is back, and it's like, what do you... I mean, this
Now,
is like
if I'm Gold, do you stay in here and just fire off a big attack?
I feel like you're so behind if you're Gold, you probably have to. I think from Addy's perspective, if I'm Addy, I am clicking Will-O-Wisp or Baton Pass. I'm probably leaning towards Will-O-Wisp because, like, who cares if you switch? I feel like you have answers to, like, a lot of the stuff. Like, Iron Moth is, like, the scariest thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you burn this Iron Hands, you get so much value out of the turn. And then
Definitely.
And then Iron Hands is kind of, like, completely neutralized. Like,
yeah, and what is, like, Gold in theory has not many switch-ins to either a Will-O-Wisp or Solar Beam or, like, an Iron Moth is too risky. But as you can see, we actually do see the Baton Pass. So once again, Gold making these plays to get back in this game.
Yeah. I feel like since Addy saw him stay in, she probably should go to Raging Bolt, I would imagine.
Into Cress.
Cress works too, though. It was just the Drain Punch, so yeah.
Nothing.
Cress is just... I still am seeing, like, not seeing how, like, as well as Gold is playing to, like, try and get some of these points, maybe. I just don't see what you do to Cress.
I don't either. Maybe, like, try and get Star Raptor in safely, but then again, how do you do that? Like, nothing on your team likes to take a Psychic, except for this Iron Hands.
Maybe Moth and Sun could do something? Like, maybe you got to pull the trigger on Moth, I'm thinking.
Maybe.
But I don't know. Because with Sun up, maybe it could do stuff, but, like, this is just... How do you kill Cresselia?
Cresselia is hated for a very good reason, and we're seeing it on full display today.
Oh, we sure are. This mon just is so tanky, and you just do not take damage with it. And it's got so many, like, status moves and stuff like that. It is really a problem for Gold's team here.
If I'm Gold here, I either go Moth or Star Raptor, honestly, because those are the two things you get the biggest hits on, and that's exactly what we're going to see. Now, if I'm Gold here, do you click Reckless Double Edge, or do you just go for U-turn chip?
I think you probably have to just go for the Double Edge, possibly.
In my opinion, you have to get off as much chip on this thing as humanly possible in order to make any sense of a comeback.
Yeah, he is Terra Flying, so he could just Terra Flying Brave Bird. This is a Terra Captain.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't know. Like, if you get Thunder Waved here, like, that's almost game losing.
As you can see, Gold making read after read, predicting that take a ton to come in.
Oh, if she gets Pickpocket, is this Pickpocket? Let me see.
Yeah, it's Pickpocket.
I was like, if oh, we just see the choice card get actually stolen,
which might work to Gold's benefit. I can definitely see that being a double-edged sword.
Yeah, but then you don't outspeed some of the stuff you probably would want to outspeed. I mean,
like a Hisui and Lilligant.
Outside of Sun, obviously.
Yeah. Well, and Ninetales, I think too. But
Yeah.
yeah. But if I'm gold here, why not go Iron Moth? Get off a big fire move. Get off that fiery dance, and that's exactly what we're gonna see.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you kind of have to just try and make the most out of these sun turns that you have to like really good in this. But this is an interesting interaction because Tinkaton could actually be faster than this Iron Moth now because of the choice scarf.
Yes, that is correct. So if I'm Addy here, do you even risk being faster? I don't think it outspeeds. Considering this Tinkaton does not have
Yeah.
any speed investment, like, do you like hopefully take a hit and try and get the power off on this thing, lock yourself in the Thunder Wave? But no, we are going to see the switch, which in my opinion
Yeah.
is the move
Yeah, no, the switch was definitely the correct play.
into the Raging Bolt.
How much is this going to take? Iron Moth is strong, so.
Iron Moth is very strong, and this thing isn't AVs. I know Gold here is probably thinking, I want a special attack boost. And honestly, and there it is. And Gold has another opportunity to get it too, if Gold decides to stay in here.
We also do have to be aware here from Gold's perspective. He has to be aware of the Thunderclap from this Raging Bolt, which we both know that it does have.
Yes,
But
it does.
But this Raging Bolt does not actually have any special attack investment, so I actually don't think it will kill even with the boost it got. But like Gold can't really risk that, right? Like if she did have that and it does kill, then
Yeah, so if I'm Gold here, I stay in here and go for a Fiery Dance and just put him in a position. But as you can see, we are going to see the Iron Hands valuing Iron Moth as the win con later in the game.
Yeah, I think that is correct. I think Moth is definitely the win con.
And there is the Thunderclap as we predicted. So now if I'm Gold here, do you predict a switch into Crest and Volt Switch, or do you just try and take out this Raging Bolt?
I'd definitely just Volt Switch. I think Fake Out is also a valid play. I just think at this point in the game, Gold does not have a Hisuian Lilligant answer, so like it's looking a little rough in that regard because like Addy could just easily sack and then bring in Hisuian Lilligant and just claim one.
And that Lilligant has Close Combat, Solar Blade, Defog, and Healing Wish. So Iron Moth could take a hit, but it doesn't want to take a hit. But as you can see, we do see the Crystalia once again.
Crest always just walls this thing, so you have no reason to like ever like stay in. Like you could just preserve the Raging Bolt as a sack, and like if you get like a 4-0 win, you get like a 4 or 5-0 wins, you get more points. So it's like this is a point league, so like playing 4 points, it's more optimal because you get more out of it. So we see Sidegate be the click here, I think, or we saw Volt Switch, I think, right?
Yeah, I think we saw Volt Switch, and into the Raging Bolt back goes Addy, and I do think Raging Bolt will live this hit ultimately. But
I think so too.
Yep, that's a 4 time. Oh, that did that's baby food damage.
Did that HPR even move?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, what do you go into though here now if you're Gold? Like you Volt Switch, and now you really don't have like any solid Raging Bolt unless you want to play the Thunderclap my games with Iron Moth.
You could like just go into like something and then double back into Iron Hands, which I think is a fair play.
Will Addy predict that and go for a nasty Draco Meteor or a Volt Switch of her own?
Yeah, that's just the risk you're always playing though. But like Iron Moth is such a like a big threat that I feel like you almost like have to make a read like that. I feel like you just have to like click Thunderclap and try and get your chip. Because Iron Moth is the way that Gold can win this game.
Yes, Iron Moth is Gold's method of coming back. I definitely see that. But as we see, Gold is weighing his options, but he is not going to predict. And as you can see, you do see the Thunderclap, and Iron Moth does take the hit. Now, if I'm Gold here, I'm praying for a special attack boost.
This is also interesting because the sun does go away this turn, so Crest actually probably can deal with this Iron Moth since the sun does go down. I think, but like...
Yep, and here comes the Crest. Now, if I'm Gold, I want out. I'm not staying in here. Iron Moth's too important of a win con. So, like, do you try to get in potential Iron Hands. Maybe you sack Iron Moth. Like what? Like Gold is clearly
I-
weighing his options here.
I think you definitely go into Iron Hands if I'm Gold personally, but like you just can't risk like a Thunder Wave on like anything else. I feel like like a Thunder Wave is like detrimental, but like I also do think that like Willigan's kind of just gonna click CC and win the game. I'm not gonna lie. So this is a really rough situation for Gold to be in, because with Iron Moth, like CC, I guess like is rough for you to switch in. Oh, and we just stay in and are choosing to sack.
Yep, they're choosing to stay in and sack. But then I don't. But that is one of Gold's win cons out of the way.
You probably have to bring in Star Raptor, I think. I think Star Raptor is the only way you kill this crest now, and you have to like keep it low like right now. But with that, we do see Gold is on 3 months, so I think one more and Addy guarantees a point. I think I might be wrong. I'm
Yeah,
really bad with the points. But
if I'm Gold, do you Terra Flying Bravebird here?
I think I am terrifying Bravebird in here every time.
Reckless
think
plus Terra Flying, but as you can see, Gold's weighing on U-turn, which is very interesting.
I mean, keeping momentum is like fine, right? But like, if this Cresselia gets healed up, you're just not killing it.
No, you're not.
Like I think this Cresselia actually just sits on everything else except for the Staraptor right now.
But as we can see, Gold's making read after read still to come back in this game, back in a Tinkaton, which we now know is Choice Scarf.
Yeah, we know this Tinkaton is Choice Scarf. We should go Iron Hands here, I guess.
Actually, I'd probably go Prim. Maybe force the Sun to go up. Bait out the Ninetales.
I mean, what does Prim do though?
Prim can hit with like Surf, but Iron Hands. Like, okay, let's see what Tinkaton has real quick. Tinkaton does not have a fairy move, so maybe Iron Hands is the play here.
And like, I also think since you're Scarf, you don't want to get Thunder Waved.
True.
So I think it's got to be Iron Hands. So I think we just always go back to Crest if we're Addy here. We're just gonna play these games because we get Scarf Rocks.
Scarf Rocks. Yep, that's a very good play because Star Raptors now every time Star Raptor comes in, it's gonna take 25, and no Dawn Fannings, no Rapid Spin. These rocks are here to stay.
It also means the final Gambit's gonna get weaker every time it comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a very good play from Addy's part. And I don't know how you really take advantage of that. Like,
I don't either. They, as you see, Gold's going Prim, so maybe they're firing off a Surf. I don't know how if you're Gold here, you maneuver around these Stealth Rocks.
Yeah, Surf is really an interesting play here because Addy does have a Ninetales, which can make the power weaker. Like, you could honestly go hard Ninetales here, and I feel like you're fine. Because Moonblast resist, you Weather Ball. Like, I don't know what you do if you're Gold here.
No, I think Gold's in a corner here, and I think he knows it, which is why he's sitting here weighing his options.
Yeah, I think if I'm Gold here, I'm trying to fight to get points here because like I feel like the game might be really hard to maneuver around here because like I'm looking at like Lilligant and we don't stop Lilligant.
I'm wondering if Gold might predict a switch into a switch and maybe go and take a read, go for Moonblast here.
Yeah, but if you go Ninetales, you're just always fine.
Yeah, and that is the Ninetales. So yeah, no, Surf was the right play.
Because you always resist the Moonblast and then you weaken Surf.
Yep, that's correct. So yeah, Surf did, I'd say it did like around 30 to 40, maybe 35. So yeah, with your Gold here, what are you going to? Like you're running out of options at this point.
I think you probably got a sack because I think Addie's just gonna click baton pass and go into Lilligant and try and sweep.
So if I'm gold here, do you click? Oh, Prim's fast. I forgot it's scarf. Oh, but the crit! He got the crit!
Oh my god, that's
Gold
pretty
isn't
massive.
dead yet, people.
That's pretty massive. I still think it's rough because like we're good. I still think it's really massive because like Lilligant still just wins.
It does because
You-
like you don't have Scarf Star after anymore. It just
I-
clicks Solar Blade here and picks up a kill,
It-
and gold really doesn't have any switches.
Even if it was Star Raptor, this Lilligant Hisui is chlorophyll, so it probably would have outsped regardless.
Now, do you go for Solar Blade here, kill Prim, and then try and get Iron Moth in if you're gold?
Iron Moth is dead though.
Iron Moth, I completely missed that. I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I before this battle, I took a nap and I'm tired. So yeah, I'll use
No,
that
I
as
feel
my
that.
excuse.
I do think Solar Blade probably sweeps here. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, then yeah, Solar Blade probably sweeps unless maybe Iron Hands can take one hit. Nope, now it's definitely not taking a hit because gold is in fact switching out.
I mean, maybe Star Raptor could live a hit from Solar Blade, but I don't even know. Star Raptor is not bulky.
It really isn't. As you can see, we do see the Solar Blade being fired off.
Yeah. And if we take one, we could at least like fake out. But
No,
yeah,
it's just dead.
that's a choice banded Lilligant.
That is just dead.
And
So
with
now-
the rot ship, like I think there's an argument that Star Raptor might just die to this too.
I do think though, if you're gold, you have to go Star Raptor here and at least try to live the hit.
Yeah, you have no choice. You have to go to Star Raptor.
Even though I'm gonna be honest, I just don't see it living a hit. If not, it's gonna
Not after
barely
the
live
rock-
to maybe recoil will probably take it out.
Yeah, I just feel like it's gonna be really hard after the rot ship for it to do anything.
Yeah, true. And Cress is still alive in the back and well, so in reality, gold needs to kill this Lilligant with Braver, live a Solar Blade, and then somehow get off another hit on Cress, and I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, we are gonna Terra. I mean, why not? At this point, you kind of just have to.
She switched. Is it the Cresselia though that's coming in?
She
No,
probably
it's the
wasn't.
Tinkaton.
She probably wasn't confident that she killed with Solar Blade, which is completely fair. I mean,
Mhm.
it's completely a win con. You kind of have this game wrapped up as long as the sun doesn't go away. And even if
Yep.
the sun goes away, you have a Tinkaton, which Primarina struggles to lock into one move. I can't
As you
imagine
can see, we do
Tinkaton.
see the Brave Bird, and it does nothing. So
I mean, what does Tinkaton do back though? Thunderwave?
nothing. It's a Scarf Tinkaton.
We could Thunderwave.
But do you
But-
want Star Raptor to get paralyzed if you're gold? I don't think so. You need that speed.
Well, yeah, but your Primarina is also Scar, so like neither one of these Pokemon can get paralyzed for you.
It's pretty much pick your poison here, though.
Yeah,
what
yeah.
Do you, what do you value more, the Star Raptor or the Primarina?
I think I would
I'm
actually.
gold. I value Star Raptor.
I value Primarina because it still has its choice scarf. While Tinkaton is the switch into Primarina, actually, I would say. So, because after that, Moonblast becomes a little bit better, I think. I still think
Plus,
you
Star
kinda
Raptor is going to be taking a lot of damage from rocks. I definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah. I mean, I
As you can see,
think
we're gonna fire off
Cresselia,
another Brave Bird. And
I do think
Tinkaton is faster. That's insane.
choice scarf Tinkaton, baby. That's really funny that it actually was outspeeds it. Okay,
Did
so
Star Raptor lose the recoil? Yes, it did.
wait, we can't click Gigaton Hammer again.
No, so he's
No,
locked
we-
into like she's locked into struggle.
Are we gonna see a struggle kill here?
Struggle
That's- that-
kill.
That's really funny. That's actually really funny.
That is hilarious. But and yeah, no, like I think
Yeah.
you just sack Tinkaton here and then go press or Lilligant and just win. That's what I'd do if I was Addy anyway.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention this, but I think both coaches do get points for this game because I think it's 3-2 right now. So both coaches will get points. It's just if Addie could preserve the 3-0, she could stop Gold from
Gold
getting
does
a
not
point, I
get a
think.
point until he
Oh,
takes out a second one.
oh really? Is it like 2-0?
Yep. So there's an awkward spot where if you finish 3-0, one team gets 2 points and the other team does not get any.
Oh well, he's about to get one right now because the dice struggle. So, but you know, close enough.
Now we in the end game now, boys. But yeah, we do see a struggle kill, so that's a treat you don't see often. But now if I am, how do I just go? I just go Lilligan and win.
Yeah, there's 0 win con here.
Yep.
Solar Blade just kills.
Mm-hmm.
You need so if you're Godoy, your win con is Addie misclicking. That's your win con.
Hashtag team misclick.
She already misclicked to one game, so I would actually not want her to do that. So like, I pray she clicks the right button.
I will say,
so terrible.
Gold did kind of have a bad matchup at team preview, as we saw, but Gold really played well to rally and get a 2-0 win. Or a 2-0 loss, rather.
We are just terrifying because we can. But yeah, I guess to show off the Sarah type, maybe. That makes sense. But Solar Blade just...
Or...
Does this
Does
kill?
Gold live to close combat? Yeah, it does.
Okay, yeah, I was like...
I was about to say.
That was funny. Like, killing with DC is pretty funny.
Well done to both players. That was a very, very good game. Very high-level game.
Yeah, Gold really brought it back, but Addie just played really, really well.
You know, I agree with this. So, yeah, no, well done to both coaches.
Yeah.
And so who is your personal MVP on both teams before the actual MVP is revealed?
It's definitely Lilligan Hisui for Addie, I think. And I would probably say Star Raptor for Gold.
Yeah, no, I'd say Star Raptor or yeah, I'd say Star Raptor. Star Raptor's a pretty decent choice.
Yeah, welcome back, Goldoa.
Yeah, that was a lot. That fight was mentally exhausting, if nothing else.
I mean,
yeah.
Talk us through that game. Like, what do you think went wrong in that game? Besides, like, I was really shocked by some of your upbringing. So, kind of like talk us through, like, what was the Scarf Primarina for? Did you just not think Sun was coming, or?
No. I knew Sun was coming. Scarf Marina actually was just very good into this matchup overall. Outspeeding, like surprise outspeeding a couple of things. And I didn't know if it was necessarily if she was gonna run the chlorophyll on the Lilligant or just trust its natural speed, and I was able to outspeed that if it wasn't chlorophyll boosted. But yeah, I mean, I think Moonblast was super spammable into this matchup, and Surf was just also really good coverage for the like 2 fire types. So it felt like that was a really solid option for Primarina, which I did want to outspeed things like the Great Tusk and stuff. Yeah. In terms of like what went wrong, she had a couple of sets I just got put on the back foot by. The Draco Meteor eject pack, Raging Bolt was like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay, I guess Donphan's dead now. Like, I didn't get anything off for that, and I definitely feel like if I had gone for a knockoff, kept the leftovers from healing up the Cresselia, then maybe I could have pressured it more into the late game, forced it to use Moonlight more frequently instead of attacking. So that was definitely one spot. And I think the other thing is, if that, I might have not, I don't know, managing the Sun turns was really, really challenging just over and over again. I felt like I did a good job managing Sun turns for a while in terms of keeping enough Mons alive that like I could handle it, but she had one one too many sun turns at the very end of the game. Because if that thing loses chlorophyll, then I get a kill with the Moonblast right into the Cresselia, and then it's Psychic / T-Wave versus Moonblast special attack drops, and who knows, right? Like, it's Cresselia versus Primarina spamming Moonblast. So it's possible, you know, that game can turn around. If I've just like, and I guess what I'm supposed to do, and I don't even know. Like, I was gonna say maybe I'm supposed to sack this Staraptor instead of the Iron Hands to get a fake out off to stall out one extra turn of Sun.
Yeah.
But even then, like, it just didn't feel. I didn't know it was banded, so I thought I lived a hit anyway.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I live basically any hit. I assumed it was gonna Victory Dance, which I also thought was just lethal. So I was like, okay, let me just like fake out and stall out time and get a little chip on it. But yeah, I mean, by some point in the game, I don't even know exactly when, I couldn't tell you, I started just like, how do I make sure I get a point out of this? I just cannot let Addy prevent me from getting a point.
Yeah,
Like-
you managed to find the out to stop him from you getting a point by hitting that crit with the Primarina Surf, which probably enabled you to get that point, I think, honestly.
There were two really big crits that both mattered based off the calcs. The Iron Hands critting the Great Tusk, because the Great Tusk lives otherwise, and then the crit on the Ninetales, otherwise it lives as well.
Yeah, because if she baton passes and goes Lilligant, I think you just probably get 4-0'd, maybe. But you got the point. You kept trying. That's kind of what the point system is all about. Just fighting out to get that point, still get something out of the game.
Yeah, figure out where exactly.
I just can't
your
tell
lines
if
would be.
TBL history has been made. I don't know if that's the first time Amon picked up a kill using Struggle.
That was pretty funny.
I know it is not the first time Amon has died to Struggle. I don't know if it's the first time Amon has picked up a kill using Struggle. I don't think so. I think Struggle has been used before. To quote unquote success, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that was like, honestly, I love playing Addy because I do feel like she makes me a better player. And I feel like, it is 30 minutes of a legitimate, like, get in the tank and figure out your solutions, because she is going to present you with genuinely challenging situations for an entire fight. And if you're not ready for that, like, you will just get blown out of the water. And I think she has made me overall a better player for that. So, I always enjoy facing Addy, even if my success rate against her remains 0%.
I will say the one critique I have about this game is Addy not bringing Charizard and saying she was going to sweep you with Charizard.
I'm honestly wondering if that was an intentional fake out.
I bet it was, but I still have to call it out. But yeah, really well played to Addy. Congratulations on the win to Addy, and way to pull out and get that point gold. You fought to the end, and it was a really close game. It looked really rough at times, and it looked like she was gonna run away with the game, but you kept fighting, and you made the end game really close. I mean, one less sun turn, like you said, and that game might flip on its side. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, again, Primarina had enough speed to outspeed non-chlorophyll Lilligant in that situation. I had clicked the Moonblast, so and I don't know what the role is. It probably wasn't a role with Choice Band and a close combat there. And certainly after the damage, I'm never beating the Cresselia. So, but that was a lot of fun. And honestly, like, just, God, she is so difficult to face. It's so hard.
I am not looking forward to it when I have to play her later in the season, but
and I know going into these matches too that she knows that I'm a good battler. She knows that I'm somebody who takes it seriously, and so she takes it seriously, and I love that. I respect that so much. But it also means that I know that I'm gonna have to play perfectly. That's just always gonna be from turn one. And there was a game, not this one, but there was a game where I was literally one misclick away from beating Addy after like so many turns. It was like 40 turn battle, and it was just like grueling 40 minutes. And then I was like I needed to make one play that was a very obvious play, and I didn't, and I lost the game. And it was like, it is so hard because she's just gonna play so well throughout the entire fight. So kudos as always to her. I love having her in the TBL for that reason, because it just gives the league such a fun aspect to it, to just see the way that she prepares for fights and brings just so much energy into the fight, and so much fun to play against. So, but I gotta unlock in, I guess, because I now have to commentate other people battling, and my brain is like mush. So.
Yep. So we will go ahead and get started to take a look into the next matchup, which is the Atlanta Victory Stars taking on the San Diego Pachirisus. We can go ahead and start talking about them, but we are awaiting one of the coaches to join us for the screen share. But this will be the second of our 3 matches today, and looks like we are officially joined by Playmaker. And so as Playmaker joins, I do want to give a thank you to both Dark Devil and Gawdbear for commentating the first one. Really appreciate the interactions we've seen these first 3 weeks in terms of people volunteering to be on the stream, so greatly appreciate that. All right.
Apologies, moved up mute for a second there, but yeah, let's figure out more things about TBL. Pokemon Go. Playmakers here. Hi. We're gonna deafen you now. That's it.
Good luck. Have fun. All right. So we have the Atlanta Victory Stars being coached by Playmaker, taking on Rotom and the San Diego Pachirisus.
San Diego.
I need to double check to make sure the V stats are correct, because I've noticed that the copy and paste function was being a bit of a pain. So I believe this is correct. No, it's not. I need to change.
Playmaker is 1-1 plus 3 second place.
What it is, what it is the fact that whenever I copy a screen, it copies everything. But then when you start editing a different screen, it then changes everything back on the source where you copied it from. And so I've got to go through and create new ones all throughout, because
Y'all, shout out to FinFin for doing all of the editing for every stream so far. It has been an unbelievable amount of work. So
I just want to be able to sleep again. No.
But anyway, going through these teams very quickly while he's getting all this ready. Playmaker's team, we're looking at the Umbreon and Araquanid are the 2 Terra captains, led by the S-tier Garchomp, as well as Cinderace, Corviknight, Hisuian, Zoroark, Virizion, Clefable, Raikou, and Necrozma. And on the side of the San Diego Pachirisus, we've got 3 Terra captains in the Talonflame, Galvantula, and Okidogi. The A-tier Pokemon being Urshifu Rapid, and then that is linked to a Hisuian Samurott, Gliscor, Blastoise, Iron Crown, Mimikyu, and Hisuian Gudra. Both these teams, as we just mentioned, are 1-1. They are separated by a couple of points based on the differentials of the games that they've played so far, and that is the difference between being in 2nd place and 6th place, which is a pretty notable difference given that they have the exact same record. But the big things, oh god, looking at a new matchup after I just did all that is crazy work. I also don't want to say too much right now. I did help Playmaker prep for this match. So I know what I would bring if I was the San Diego Padres. Maybe I'll talk about it because I literally prepped for this matchup.
We are a little behind, so if you'd like, we can just jump into it.
Yeah, let's give yeah, you know what? Who needs to know what I did? I lost, so.
I was say, what's the old quote? F it, we'll do it live. We'll do it live.
Also, yeah, so we are going to jump right into this battle, let the coaches know that they are good to search.
Which coach do I need the team of?
What is the other guy's name? That's you.
Sorry, folks, give me a moment. The coaches did good to get me this sets before the match. However, because we had so many back-to-back-to-back, I was not able to input them all prior to us starting the stream.
Again, FinFin is doing the Lord's work right now, getting this amount of editing done, like for all you guys, for every single battle for the entire season. So
Getting the Lord's work
we're
done.
all
Someone
really
thinks
thankful
awfully
that
high of himself.
we're
Calling
all thankful
yourself the
for
Lord.
everything Finfin does for us right now. But we are going to start seeing this battle get underway. And we do...
I do have an announcement on the battle. Now that the battle
Sure.
is officially underway. Playmaker did advise me that they were using their differential.
Okay, he told me he was considering it, but obviously I was fighting until just now. So what that means, everybody, for the battle here, this is suddenly the probably most important battle of Playmaker's entire season. And he has historically done this. He has lost before, and it has gone poorly, but he still made playoffs that season. But whatever Playmaker's differential is, win or lose, he gets that many points this week. So if he wins 5-0, instead of getting the normal 3 points you get for that, he's going to get 5 points. If he wins like 1-0, though, instead of getting the normal 2 points for that, he only gets 1. And if he loses 3-0, he actually loses 3 points from his season total. So every Mon that dies on Playmaker's side is going to be a Mon that is literally equating to a point that he can no longer earn. So every Mon that dies is a negative differential for him throughout this entire battle. This is high stakes for Playmaker all of a sudden, everybody. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. We'll be keeping you up to date of how the battle is going. Obviously, it's turn 1 at 6-6. So he's still got all sorts of time ready for that. But we do see the Blastoise rock out with a Water Spout turn 1. And probably Choice Scarfed too, going after that Cinderace, but the Cinderace being Scarfed outspeeds, gets the Blastoise down to about 50%, and now that Water Spout doing a lot less damage.
It was, in fact, Scarf. So one of the interesting things here, this Garchomp set, as we saw, was running Mirror Herb, likely anticipating a Shell Smash right off the bat. And we see the Scale Shot come out from the Garchomp here. No boosted on the hit opportunities, so it's only going to hit the 2 times. Gliscor coming in relatively comfortably, sitting in front of this Garchomp without a Sword Stance. An Outrage is only doing 41%, so looks to be a strong position here. I would not be... It looks like Corviknight going to be the dedicated answer. However, something to potentially note is this Gliscor is not running Toxic.
I will say I played a bunch of times in mocks, and I was running T-Spikes Gliscor in the mocks, and I realized partway through and talked to him about the fact that Gliscor should be running Toxic over T-Spikes in this matchup, because there was a number of times where I wanted it to get a Toxic off into a Pokemon, and I didn't have T-Spikes up yet, and that Pokemon would switch in immediately before the T-Spikes went up, and that was very frustrating. So I know that's something that's going to be in the back of Playmaker's mind after we have discussed it during the mock prep, but Gliscor switching out, not revealing anything to Playmaker about its set yet. Of course, as a reminder to everybody too, the San Diego Pachirisus do not know that Playmaker has used his differential week, so they're not playing any differently than they would otherwise be playing. They did not use their differential. It's not like it's suddenly for everyone in the battle. Whatever they would normally earn for their win this week or loss this week, they cannot lose any points for a loss no matter what the differential is, and they can still earn their 1, 2, or 3 points. So it is a totally normal week for the San Diego Pachirisus. It's only the Atlanta Victory Stars who are on this high-strung, like, stress week.
I do love this, though, that we did see a Scarf on the Cinderace, and it's still running Court Change. So if Sticky Webs comes out here, which they did not bring, we see the anticipation of it being used to the other side. So kind of interesting to see some of the different sets that are brought, even if they are not being necessarily used.
Yeah, and the Galvantula goes for the Bug Buzz, makes Playmaker reveal the Terra type here, which is that poison, which means that T-Spikes, again, that's another reason from Gliscor that T-Spikes wouldn't be as good. And as the Umbreon came in, that was a situation where you could try to Toxic the Umbreon and get it to be on a timer, even if it Terra Poisons later. As
So
we do
I
see
am a
the
little
Screech
I
come
am a little
out, which is
surprised
always
with
a
the
fun bit.
Screech, only because it's setting up something else in that case, because this is using physical attacks, and Screech drops physical defense instead of special.
Yeah, Screech with like a throat spray on a Galvantula would be kind of neat though.
Oh, that would be. That would be intense. So I'm curious what the plan is here. I mean, I almost wonder if you just have to stay in and pick up the kill, because this should be in range to die to one more foul play.
Yeah, and one thing I want to acknowledge again, because we can see one person's full moveset, we can't see the other. But if you were watching from the other perspective, you would not just see Screech as a setup move on this Galvantula, you would also see String Shot. And I'm not convinced, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that this may be the first time String Shot has ever been brought to a TBL battle as a move. So it did get buffed at one point. I don't remember exactly what generation it got buffed in, but it now does -2 speed. So it's a move that definitely has some utility, but taking a full move slot for a non-damaging move that all it does is reduce their speed by 2, and if they switch out, it's not, it's not permanent like Sticky Web, usually not the optimal choice.
Yeah, and we do see the hard swap out here as they elect to go for the U-turn, and we should see some rough skin ship unless there was a genning error. There was not, and so big time damage, likely revealing the fact that this is in fact a choice band Urshifu. And so kind of an interesting position right now off the bat.
Mike, I respect and appreciate that we're pulling out preseason lore. But I will hold my this may be the first time it's ever been brought to a main season battle. Preseason has gotten some very fascinating tech in the past. I love the preseason because people bring some bananas stuff. Right, Playmaker gonna have to try to preserve this Garchomp a little bit longer too, because again, that is worth a point for him just to have it alive, even if it can never switch back in again.
We see a safe Surf come out, and that's going to do some big damage, and by big damage, I mean recovery from leftovers almost made it negligible.
Literally no damage, effectively.
Curious to see what the go into here is. I wouldn't be surprised if we potentially see a Gliscor, just because Gliscor's got solid physical defense, and so it may not be fearing the foul play as much, especially with it getting its toxic recovery. And it can then click Earthquake on this Umbreon. But instead we see Goodra come in.
Well, that's going to tank the Thunder Wave here. And it doesn't really care about its speed all that much, but it never is fun to be paralyzed because there always is that chance you're just never going to get to act.
Yeah, and this is where things get interesting because both Mons here are only doing at most 25% to each other.
Welcome to these two Pokemon. That's kind of how they usually operate.
Welcome to hell.
Yeah, one thing that I was running in the mocks against Playmaker here too was knockoff on the Hisuian Goodra just to try to stop this Umbreon from permanently recovering. We do not see that here on the one that is in the actual battle. Knockoff is not a move that can be clicked here. So Umbreon's leftovers for now remain safe.
Yeah, and I think because of the para, Umbreon just wins this interaction, guaranteed to 4 kill, but the Dragon Tail will force it out, doing at most 25% damage, which that did not look like 25%. That's because I still have -2, and no, I take it back. Goodra is doing at most 15% on a Dragon Tail. Even better.
That makes more sense. As the Raikou is the thing brought in, now it is an Assault Vested Goodra with Shell Armor, so Aura Sphere can never crit. but Calm Mind going to allow this Raikou to try to get boosts so that the Aura Sphere can just pound through despite the high special defense. If the Goodra goes straight for a Dragon Tail, that would be best case scenario for San Diego Pachirisus right now. And we do see that it does connect, breakthrough para, everything. And there's 25%. See, we did it. We got there. As it is now the Cinderace that comes in. Now, Pachirisus also know that this is Choice Scarf Cinderace. So, whatever is clicked here, they'll know that that's the move that this thing is locked into.
Yeah, and Powerball at this range should kill, assuming it connects. It's doing at the minimum of 49%. So we're just going to see a safe swap out of Goodra and into the Blastoise.
Allowing this thing to take another U-turn here. That did a lot of damage last time to the Blastoise. It's clearly just a very offensive Blastoise. Playmaker must see that. But now it is Torrent boosted.
It is, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to really make the Umbreon afraid of it.
Umbreon's not at full HP right now. I don't know. Torrent Surf is going to do, with modest Torrent Surf, it's going to do some damage.
On to the Umbreon, it's doing at most 38%. So 32% after lefty recoveries. And this would normally be in range to potentially then pick up the kill, but instead we're going to see the Necrozma come in.
Go straight for a Calm Mind here on Playmaker's side.
Kind of an interesting move here. Now they are setting up long term, but this Surf is not about to feel very good if they stay in.
No, and then, I mean, I guess you're saying that, like, if I've Calm Minded, then I'll live a Bug Buzz from a Galvantula or something, but it doesn't outspeed the Urshi Rapid, and that's just an easy switch in once this Blastoise eventually does go down. And yes, you can try to Moonlight Stall right now, but you are one crit away from losing your Necrozma for no value and an entire point.
Yeah, and this is going to be a very interesting set. We've seen this, what is it now, 2-3 times of only 2 offensive moves, setup and recovery on the Necrozma.
And that setup does not involve speed, and that's important because outspeeding here is the thing that I think is going to be the most vital for this Necrozma. Although that Urshifu does have Aqua Jet, so if it is low, that Urshifu can always take it out, even if it had boosted its speed.
Yeah, because the interesting thing here is the Urshifu, because of its range, or because it's choice banded, Surging Strikes is always killing unless this is above 70%, realistically.
Yeah, Necrozma with no way to get that speed. I mean, I guess you were counting on Sticky Web court change shenanigans, but it's hard to count on something your opponent, you don't really want to rely on your opponent giving you something if you can just do it yourself. So opting to preserve the Blastoise here, though, instead of choosing to go for damage, that is going to allow the Necrozma to get back to full HP here. Okidogi is a Terra Captain. Playmaker must be aware of the possibility this thing is going to change its typing. And, it could just Terra Dark, and then Photon Geyser does nothing at all. And that is the set that I brought in Mox. It is not the set that the San Diego Pachirisus have right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see them click Earth Power here, just trying to be safe to ensure damage. But something to note, this is a choice Scarf Okidogi, so gonna get revealed, or won't be revealed because this is a slow Necrozma that was going to be outsped anyway. But it will be interesting to see what's going to happen, because the knockoff, if they lock into it, is just going to boost the attack with another weakest policy set.
Yeah, and no Toxic Chain pop either on this particular knockoff. Now, I don't think even at +3 that an Earth Power is going to be able to kill the Okidogi.
Photon Geyser would have.
Yeah. Photon Geyser absolutely would have, but TBL is not a Terra Preview League, so you do get to reserve that knowledge for one turn. Okidogi choosing not to go for a kill, or not a kill, but like a toxic poison, instead opting to go out into the Blastoise and sacrifice that, as the Necrozma just goes for Moonlight. So it's actually going to be a little lower if the Blastoise just goes for Surf here than it would have been had it just attacked. And this is where it's very important that San Diego Padres do not know that Playmaker has used their differential weak, because it may have affected the way they played into this, to try to get a couple more kills, even if you know it's going to like cost you some more momentum in the fight or a couple Pokemon. But now the San Diego Padres is still playing as normal, as we always do. We don't tell the other coach. That means that the Atlanta Victory Stars have been able to get this back to full HP, as opposed to maybe Blastoise, farming for crits or something.
And I believe this is going to be the first kill of the match.
Yeah, turn like 15 first kill of the match here is crazy.
Now, the interesting thing is, how much health is the Necrozma at? Because I'm wondering if this is now within the range of Urshifu coming in and revenging.
It's at 256.
It's a roll! It's a roll! I think they're just going to click U-turn here. Oh, if they click Aqua Jet, or if they click Surging Strikes, then
it'll do more than the Moonlight Recovery, right?
Yep, by 7% on a min. And they click it. Oh, there's one crit. There's 2 crits. Still not as many as Gold had in the last match. There's 3 crits.
I didn't even have them guaranteed. That's just a skill issue.
Well-trained Pokemon.
We do see that is doing more than 50%, so play now forced out, but doesn't lose the Pokemon yet, and that could matter.
Yeah, this is...
Besides the fact that it's a Necrozma with recovery, so it could matter because it could actually still be a huge threat and nuisance later in the game. It can also matter because Playmaker used a differential weak.
Yeah, but it's absolutely huge because there is no swap into this.
Does let that go down. I maybe would have sacked the Garchomp instead. Necrozma seemed like it was still going to be healthy enough. You could get this Urshifu out of there, and Garchomp is really just not going to be able to come back in.
Debating the Cinderace, though, I don't know what it would do in that position.
Yeah, it's got to be the Umbreon with Psychic. I mean, that's or the Raikou. Like, those are your only answers here.
And Umbreon's not doing enough. Surging Strikes is a guaranteed 2-hit KO even after lefties. And Psychic is doing about 40%.
We do see it is the Corviknight that comes in here. And he's going to go straight for a Brave Bird. He's too afraid to even click a bulk up here. Thinks the Urshifu is going to stay in and go for an attack.
Yeah, based off the health, the Urshifu is likely to die to a Brave Bird unless it's, a deceiving bar and an extreme low roll, because Brave Bird is doing 65 to 75. So I think that's
one thing to
killing there.
I'm a little surprised that with the Citrus Berry on the Corviknight that he wouldn't choose to go for like one bulk up, because this thing's not doing 75% to a Corviknight. So
it's not a Citrus Berry, it's Akka.
Oh, it's Akka. Then yes, that was definitely the right play. Because you are taking 50%.
So I assume the Urshifu is going to go down here, which is going to be unfortunate. Because that thing just looked like an unstoppable menace with it being banded.
But it did get rid of the Necrozma, which is one of the biggest threats to the San Diego Pachirisu side as well. And so Garchomp, very, very low right now. Corviknight under 50% and threatened by Galvantula. So, there's definitely room for the San Diego Pachirisus to continue to put pressure on in this game. Playmaker, though, I think with the Umbreon still being very healthy and the setup option on the Raikou is still in a very good position in this game.
Well, the other thing I think is very big here is Cinderace looks great being Scarfed. Pyro Ball, the 2 Mons that are realistic resist to it are out of the game in Blastoise and Urshifu. So there's going to be positions where Scarf Cinderace, being the guaranteed fastest thing in the game, can come in, click Pyro Ball, and just, assuming it hits, be guaranteed a kill. Interesting choice to go for the Goodra here, as I wonder if a body press at this range would just kill.
Bruce does come out, though, to get that HP back. We see the Chilling Water, but
It's
Mirror armor actually going to reduce the Gudra's attack here instead of the Corviknights. And realizing his mistake, gonna go back to the drawing board here. Definitely think Galvantula should have come in immediately. That at least would have forced this out. And you could have made a potential read to get this thing, or the Garchomp or something. Because now it's a little harder. I mean, maybe now it's even easier to click Bug Buzz because you were never going to kill with a Thunder anyway from full HP onto the Corviknight. Or do you string... You can't string shot either because then you lose your speed. But it actually outspeeds the Garchomp anyway, so it doesn't. You don't really have to make that read either.
It normally would if it had enough investment, but the Garchomp's jolly and the Galvantula's modest.
But play does not know that.
And that's the big part here.
But if the Galvantula chooses to switch out, what we are going to see is that the Garchomp's going to switch out first, and play will gain that information that his Garchomp is faster. So it actually is to the benefit of the San Diego Patrices to stay in and click the Bug Buzz, even if you know you're going to get stuffed by some other mon switching in. Because now play continues to not know that his Garchomp outspeeds the Galvantula.
And then U-Turn's just able to come out and get some more big damage off here.
Yeah, I mean, that Gliscor could come in. Like, there's no reason to let the Galvantula go down at this point. You need it for the Corviknight. You really don't have another answer to that.
Yeah.
And Gliscor is going to be able to shrug this off. So, you know, little surprise Blastoise has been the historical switch into the Cinderace like that when it was not a bulky set. It was an offensive set.
Likely anticipating the Pyro Ball.
Even then, Gliscor is still a very solid check to Cinderace.
Yeah. I genuinely think that this Gliscor is going to be the key as long as Raikou does not take it down. And the main reason for that is I'm not quite sure with the interaction here, but this may be baited because Gliscor has Fling for that Toxicorp. So Corviknight, I'm assuming Toxicorp... Is
Steel type immune to poison?
There are ways that you can still hit it in the same way that I know some others work. So I'm curious how this one will hit. I'm assuming that's why you bring the Fling, because otherwise this hard swaps out. So maybe the Fling doesn't hit. I'm curious about that. But now Corviknight can just freely click Bulk Up. Instead, it's just going to go for the body press, go for the kill, and running out of options here. If you're Playmaker, do you try and make a bold read and just click the Brave Bird? We see the string shot.
Ring shot.
Oh.
It's actually going to reduce the speed of Galvantula, and the Corviknight's going to get a kill here. And play in the driver's seat right now. Going to really put the entire division on notice if he does manage to pick up a 5-0 victory and score 5 points this week. That is effectively 2 wins for the price of 1 in the TBL. That, and maybe more if you're looking at, you know, normally 2-point wins. So if every kill the Patrices can pick up here is going to benefit them, Thunder Punch is certainly not going to do it, though. Another Brave Bird going to come out from this Corviknight, going to take out the Okidogi, and
Gliscor versus the world.
Out of nowhere. 4 kills for a Corviknight is crazy. Now Gliscor could click Fling here. We're going to see the official interaction. I believe it does not poison.
Nope, okay.
And that is correct.
That was the only thing I could think of why they would bring the Fling.
I think it was for the Umbreon earlier for that switch in, which happened before it Terra'd, and they didn't go for it.
Yeah, but I guess my question there is, why would you just not anticipate or bring Toxic instead?
Playmaker shows the bulk up, and that should be game here at this point. Gliscor just never going to be able to break through this Corviknight. And there it is. Corviknight going to pick up 5 kills and a 5-0 victory for the Atlanta Victory Stars, who moved to 2-1 on the season, but more importantly, used their differential this week to lock in a full 5 points. All of a sudden, we're in week 3, and they have 9 points, which is the maximum points you could have. You didn't use your differential week. You went 3-0, and all of them were 3-point wins. So a huge choice by Playmaker that has absolutely paid off. And we are joined by both coaches at this point. So Upgraded Rotom finding out for the first time that Playmaker did choose to use his differential week in this matchup. And will pick up 5 points.
They did.
Nice. Honestly, good call.
Dude, I mean, when you told me you're like, I'm not gonna have any time to prepare for this, I was like, I think this is a good chance to do it, you know? So.
No, that's totally fair. Like I said, I didn't really have too much time. I'm literally here for a wedding right now, and I am pretty much getting ready for that as we speak now. But I figured if I'm going into this week with not much prep, let me just try some stupid little like quirky sets. Hence why I led Choice Scarf, Water Spout, Blastoise.
That was fun, dude. I was not expecting. I was like, what is he leading with this thing? Like, Blastoise is the lead? Like, it's like unheard of. You know? Like,
no, because like I was doing calculations into your team too, and realistically, like, because I was not expecting your Cinderace to be Scarf either. Like, I was doing the calcs, and everything on your team, if it wasn't built for bulk, took at least half of its HP done, and that Cinderace would have been wiped out if it wasn't Scarf.
oh yeah, I was well aware. Is he just trying to get like, you know, slow momentum flip turn or something? I was like, what is he?
You know, that wouldn't have been bad either, but no. I wanted to go crazy with it.
Yeah, I was like, as soon as I saw Water, I was like, oh, it's Scarf. Like, I was like, okay, I don't know what I'm dealing with. Like, okay, buddy.
No, dude, but I will say too, one of the things that at least I think I played really poorly in that match with, when I got Corviknight down all the way to like the yellow HP, and then I stupidly told myself you were gonna Iron Defense, and so I went into my Goodra thinking I could Dragon Tail you out, when my whole entire self kept telling me to just go Galvantula for the pressure. And then, what did I do? I even told myself it was gonna be a stupid play, and I
You
did it
clicked
anyway.
Chilling Water.
Filling water, yeah.
Well, no. I mean, like the switch into it. I told myself it was going to be a stupid play.
No, we were surprised here too. Like we all were like, okay, Galvantula comes in. That seems like everything has been set up for this moment to be Galvantula.
Literally. Oh. But, you know, I'm just here to have fun with it. So ultimately, it's cool.
How dare you? This is a hyper-competitive league. There's no fun allowed.
But enjoy the wedding, of course. And despite Playmaker using the differential week, you did not get penalized for this matchup at all. So it's not like you lose any points for him doing that. So
you know what? Then I am very thankful for that, Playmaker. That would have gotten me a lot worse in differential then.
Yeah, no, you can't make someone else's differential worse by using your own differential week. That's not how that works. But yeah, congratulations to Playmaker, of course, and Rotom, go enjoy the wedding. We are already really far behind, so we're gonna jumping into the next match and everything. And Fin, I know you're doing a lot of work right now, but would you be able to message the coaches and ask which one's gonna come in while we go over the teams here?
Absolutely.
Right off the bat, we're looking at another match in the Scarlet Conference. This is the Virginia Victinis, who will be taking on the Canadian Ceraleges. Both of these teams are in the upper half, or well, they were first and second going into this moment, but Playmaker or first and third, I think. Playmaker just vaulted everybody. So the Canadian Ceraleges 2-0 right now. They have two Terra captains in Chestnut and the Blastrier, headlined by Ursaluna, and then Goldango, Lycanroc Dusk, Rotom Wash, Cyclizar, Galarian Slowking, Granbull, and the Darkrai. And on the other side,
with my little eye, someone who's a fan of some starter Pokemon.
And yeah,
Ladies-
Alex, for joining me for this. Sorry, didn't mean to just like bum rush through that all.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm just like I'm just getting everything like loaded up so I can see.
And meanwhile, we'll just say the Virginia Victini side is the Decidueye, Skeledirge, and Diancie are all Terra captains alongside Urshifu Single Strike, Latios, the Toxtricity, Excadrill, Hippowdon, Milotic, and Hornatus Therian. I don't want to take too long getting things ready, or like just vamping until the match is ready, but we don't have the screen feed yet, so we're gonna have to talk about this matchup a little bit. Oh no. But Alice, what are you seeing right off the bat here?
So right off the bat, I'm seeing that there are some very interesting normal types on the Ceralege's team, and they're going up against an Urshifu. There's 2 normal types, and an ice type, and a rock type, and
a dark
Single Strike
type.
Urshifu just absolutely loves this match.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, the thing is, your answer to a Urshifu Single Strike is Granbull. Full stop. Like, that's it. That's your answer. I mean, I guess a Terra Captain, but like overall, it's Granbull, which is probably one of the better things Granbull can do in the game. It intimidate, physically defensive Pokemon in general, but I'm sure it's not going to love the idea of being the only thing that can come in on Urshifu repeatedly.
And even then, Banded Wicked Blow still does a fair amount to Granbull. Because it just ignores the Intimidate.
Yeah, besides the fact that it ignores the Intimidate, it also, like if you're not banded, you can just go bulk up, right? And then have Trailblaze and everything else. And it's not like Granbull, maybe play rough Okos, but honestly, I'm not even convinced it does if you run like Roselli Berry. And if you just like bulk up Roselli Berry, like...
You say that, but I've Oko'd a Urshifu Dark with a Vulpix before. That thing has very deceptive defenses. 4 times weakness does not make up for medium to medium good defenses.
And that is the one benefit to the Canadian Sacrilegious side right now, which is a lot of things get fairy coverage, right? The Lycanroc Dusk outspeeds and has Play Rough. Goldango could run a Colberberry and Dazzling Gleam. We've actually even seen that exact set last week. We do have Pokemon here that can find the coverage to have an answer to that Urshifu. But if you over prep for one Mon, you end up getting, under prepped potentially for other Pokemon on the roster. And there is still a sand boosted Excadrill possibility. There is Terra Skeledirge. Terra Diancie could even be a big problem here for the roster. So,
I mean, Diancie is probably one of the best partners you can actually have for Urshifu. It tanks pretty much every hit that Urshifu does not like.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Diancie is a really underrated Pokemon overall.
But if I was going to say, should we let the players know that we're ready to go? But we don't have the player in here yet.
Yeah, we currently cannot.
Yep, Mike let me know that they were resetting their modem and would be in shortly. As soon as they are ready to go, we've got everything else that is basically needed. I guess gotta point out one thing, just seeing your name in the Discord chat. I keep getting thrown off by the tag next to your name that says MLB, because I guarantee you my mind is going to something very different than what that's supposed to actually mean. There's no way in hell.
I am a Miraculous Ladybug fan.
That's what that is. Okay.
Yeah, it's the Miraculous Ladybug Discord. And I'm a big fan of the series. The animation style is so good, and it's such a nice, refreshing take from superheroes.
No questions about it. I've heard nothing but good things. The reason I was so thrown off, I don't know if you know this, but Gold, I'm assuming you know what comes to mind when I see MLB.
I mean, yes, I'm very sure I know what is coming to mind. We were literally talking about it earlier.
Yeah, MLB over here, I think the first thought that comes to a lot of folks' mind is Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
So I was like, "There's no way Alice is a baseball fan. I need to find out what team."
No, I'm a basketball fan, not a baseball fan.
That's fair.
Although, since we're filling some airtime, you guys, it's sad that you can't see see my nails right now, but I've just got my nails done, ready for EUIC, and I am loving them.
Hell
So
yeah.
I've got like 4 different designs. One of them is Torkoal's face drawn in Adobe style, and then I've got a design for the 4 different Pokeballs that are represented on my team, which is the Heal Ball, the Pokeball, the Transfer Ball, and the Dusk Ball. And the artist that did it, she has never played a Pokemon game. All she had to go off of was reference photos, and she pretty much matched them exactly, all but the Dusk Ball.
Damn.
And the Dusk
We
Ball
love some self-care, and we also love an artist who just like looks at an image and is like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Like she's never played Pokemon, never watched Pokemon. The only thing she knew about it was the Pokeball. And she was like, oh, there's different kinds? And then
It's crazy to me that we're like so deep into this game that we've all spent so many hours playing and like learning about and memorizing 600 to 900 different like Pokemon that have 50 to 70 moves each, and 3 abilities, and what every one of 25 natures can do, and all the like different calcs of speeds and everything like that. And then like a vast majority of the planet has probably never played the game. Like,
I mean,
you know, we're talking the sales of this game being in the tens of millions, which is a huge number, except there's 8-point-something billion people in the world. So like when you actually look at it, it's like less than 1%, you know, it's crazy. When you actually think about like how deep we are in the weeds of this game, and then like the average person you just like, yeah, go hang out with or see or meet, like may know literally nothing about this.
I mean, she's already looking forward to the next time I go down there to get my nails done. Like, she's hoping I bring her some more Pokemon things to try.
We do have Mike in the call right now. Mike, if you can get your screen share up, we will let you play as soon as you are ready to do so.
Just give me a minute. I don't know why, but my the internet is fine. It's just the switch seems to keep disconnecting from the server for some reason. I just want to make sure that everything is okay, so we don't have a DC here.
Might have to do a hard reset.
Yeah, I have reset the modem and I have reset the switch, so I want to give it like a minute. Make sure that.
Fingers crossed.
You might also benefit from disconnecting the modem from your Switch and then reconnecting it up.
Yeah, I did that.
Oh, you did that, okay.
Well, in the meantime, we've done some interviews with coaches during the recaps of this season, but Alice is a perennial TBL caster, coach, you know, whatever we've asked for. So while we have a couple of minutes, if you are willing to just kind of chat about your experiences, you know, it'd be fun to just hear, you know, more perspectives of TBL.
I mean, there was one thing that I was thinking about when Fin mentioned historic moment for TBL being the struggle kill. And the first thing that came to my mind was historic moment. I remember the time when I was battling Joe, and it came down to a 0-0.
The 0-0 game. Yeah. I was actually about to mention that too. Like, Alice has definitely been a part of some historic moments in the TBL.
Yeah. I mean, I think another historic moment has got to be the, what was it, Tailwind Mandibuzz on my Sand team to go into my Sand Rush Pokemon to guarantee I outsped my opponent's Scarfer.
I love Draft League because it brings you the opportunity to do crazy stuff and like prep so specifically for scenarios. But yeah, no, that like, oh man, thinking about that 0-0 game, that was one of the hypest finishes to a game. And it's actually funny. I've talked to Joe about that since that game itself. And so this is some lore for everybody. We're gonna go back. It actually, the first part of the lore doesn't even involve Alice. It involves Joe and Manbird. Back in the day prior to the LAN understanding in Sword and Shield when you had to use 20-minute timer. And there was a situation where Joe was definitively going to win. He had 1 Pokemon left. Manbird had 3. The timer was expiring, and Manbird just wasted like 5 minutes off the 20-minute timer clock and preserved the fact that he had 3 Pokemon left, even though Joe's Pokemon would, by all accounts, sweep all of them. And Manbird admitted that fully, that he knew that that was the case. And so we had some rules in place for situations like that. But after that game, I kind of had to talk Joe off a little bit of a ledge from being like, I don't want to play anymore. This is like miserable, right? It's no fun to play this game if people are going to do this. I just don't enjoy it. And then fast forward, I think it was the next season, actually, when Alice and Joe played to that 0-0 game. It was really early on. It was like week 2 maybe of the season, I think. And after that battle, Joe was like, I don't care about anything. I'm reinvigorated. I love this game. This game's amazing. Like, he was so happy about that experience because the battle was so fun and the end game was so tense. And he was just like, screw it. I don't care what's happened to me in the past. I love Pokemon. I'm going to do this forever. So, like, you know, going back to that game specifically, like, it definitely not only has, like, ramifications in that game being a really fun game to host and commentate and watch and I'm sure be a part of, but also within like the community of the TBL, that game had ramifications. And Joe, you know, like has had so many fun, interesting games. Hef, who's in chat, actually had like a record number of 1-0 games one season. I think he had like 8 games that were 1-0 in one season, which was a really wild season to watch happen because that was crazy. Every game was super stressful. I think he won 7 of them too, which was just like, you know, insane that you have that kind of mental fortitude to play every game to 1-0 ever, and win, you know, come out on top in so many of them. So TBL, it's season 12. We've had a lot of coaches come through, a lot of really cool storylines, and people, and you know, it's just, I'm thankful for every person who's been a part of it. Honestly, it's been a really cool ride.
My breakout season here when I took over from Eric, wasn't that like a huge turnaround as well? Like, if I remember right, Eric was really far behind in the season, and I took over and just went on just insane win streak to make it to playoffs.
That was also the first, I think that was the first season we did points. Maybe not. Maybe it was the last season prior to points. It was a it was a long time ago, admittedly. But yeah, and it's just been such an interesting journey with the TBL, the different players, point systems, non-point systems, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 8 coaches make playoffs, 6 coaches make playoffs. Like, we've had a lot of iterations and growth. And so to get to this point for everybody where we do have the ability to stream multiple games back to back with graphics, with commentators, was not done overnight. This was not an easy thing. The TBL has existed since the end of 2016. We are in our 10th year as the TBL, and this, like, we have made it so far, in terms of the production quality, the community feel, like, but it was a grind at times. It has been an interesting ride for sure. So, yeah, I'm really grateful for everybody who's contributed, as a player, as a caster, as a analyst, as a friend, as a community member who just watches the streams. That's, you know, it's an honor to be able to provide this for people.
I still remember the season when you told me I had to stop doing late night streams because I was doing, what was it, like 8 streams a week.
Well, yeah, you also were signing up for games that were like, you're like, yeah, it's like 2:15 a.m. local time when we're starting like the recording for the stream, and I was like, like, I don't want to be responsible for you not being able to sleep. I feel badly.
I think at one point it was 8 streams in 1 week, and 3 of them were on the same day as a triple header, and I was supposed to play the next day as well.
Yeah, this is the first, I will say, like, speaking of TBL history, this is definitely the first time I have done a recap into my own battle, into commentating 2 more battles in the same stream. We are certainly loading this day, but it has been a it is a good time. I'm a little bit delirious at this point. I don't know. So we're having a good time, y'all. Here at the TBL. Personally, like again, this is such a blessing to be able to have done this for so long, and given so many different people a chance to participate and be seen and break out of their shells, has just been such a cool journey as a league, honestly. And I think this is the bias, right? This is where I'm going to pull it and say my league's better than everybody else's league, but we do see that the coaches are about to be ready, so we're going to jump over there. But my little pitch for the TBL, for anybody who wants to think about it in the future, is like, if you're doing a league, especially a Wi-Fi league, that only shows it you post to YouTube, you are so cultivating the content that you are producing that like it is exactly what you want everyone to see. But a league that gives you the ability to be seen on stream changes the game completely, because people get nervous when they know that people are watching and commentating, and it's a very different vibe, right? You don't get the chance to edit it. Like, you don't get the chance to go back and not, you can't just not post the battle if you were upset by it. Like, it's there. It's immediate. And I think personally it really creates a unique feel as a draft league. And so if you're trying something new, or you haven't done it before and you're into draft league and you want a chance to try out how you would do in front of a live audience, with the expectation that win or lose, you're going to come on after the battle and talk, it is a challenge. The ability to have the mental capacity and fortitude to recognize, hey, I lost that game, maybe embarrassingly, and I'm gonna go and congratulate my opponent live and like talk to the people who are watching. It is a different ball game. So
yeah, I'm probably trying not to think about having to play in front of an audience, because I'm making my return to Draft League after 8 years. That what is apparently on record now as the biggest Pokemon tournament like in history. So
well, we're gonna wish you good luck, but we will wish you good luck right after.
Yeah,
we wish these coaches good luck, since yours doesn't start till tomorrow, and this one starts right now.
Yeah. So do we actually have the sets for these teams? Because I know you're doing team sheets for the commentators.
Finfin has them. I don't.
Okay. Well,
so
we're gonna
send those over.
File then, Gold.
Sorry,
yeah,
I've got them,
for a
but I
second.
can't send them now because if I switch the screen I'm on to send them, they'll see my chats on Discord. And
I think me and Gold have been commentating in this league for long enough to be able to do it raw, right?
Oh yeah, we'll give people a taste of what it was like back in the day.
So initially, I've seen 3 leftovers, and what is probably surprising is the Pokemon that is most likely to 1v1 the Ursaluna is not running its item that allows it to do so. Milotic is not Flame Orb.
And we don't know if the Ursaluna is Flame Orb. That would have been a fun trade burn for burn here. But
I mean, it's Ursaluna.
For anyone who isn't watching or might be driving or whatever, just a quick, let's go over the teams. We have the Tornadus, Therian, Single Strike Urshifu, Excadrill, Diancie, Skeledirge, and Milotic. And those will be taking on the Darkrai, Goldango, Rotom Wash, Ursaluna, Galarian, Slowking, and Glastrier. I know I've watched while driving before, so I appreciate when people say those out loud, so I don't have to look at my screen. Don't watch Twitch while you're driving. This is a PSA. But if you are watching Twitch while you're driving, and I've given that PSA now, I'm at least going to make it so that you don't have to watch the stream.
So we have got a really rough lead on the face of it for. I wanted to say Gawdbear, but it's not Gawdbear.
No, it's Zachmander, the Canadian
Zachman. Okay, so we've got a rough lead here.
Real quick, I do need to spoil something.
God, we're about to see their better fairy type come out.
Cold Gawdbear.
Earlier you called yourself
here. Yeah, so as we've talked about, how many times has Granbull come versus Terra Fairy? Glastrier, count one up for Terra Fairy Glastrier here. I think we're even in the count. But we do see the immediate Terra into that Fairy type and an immediate U-turn with a crit. Gonna not take a potential Terra Blast here from the Glastrier, although Glastrier may very well have just gone for like Swords Dance or something. But
say I love this lead for them though, for Zach, because choosing to Terra this early is going to put them a lot further behind against that Excadrill in the back than they already were. Because the Excadrills come without sand, we can actually make an accurate assumption that it is going to be Mold Breaker, which means what you'd expect to be a switch in the Rotom is not even going to switch in very nicely. It means that pretty much the only switch in is the Ursaluna, and if I remember right, doesn't Excadrill get close combat or at least some fighting move?
I don't believe it gets close combat, though that could just be me not remembering because I have not used an Excadrill in like multiple generations.
It gets Brick Break.
It gets Focus Blast. Not that that's going to do anything, but the only fighting move it gets is Brick Break. Relatively.
I highly doubt that the Ursaluna is going to take 2 Brick Breaks.
But we do see right off the bat that this, yeah, as you're saying, the Glastrier Terra Fairy gets a Terra Blast off. It does almost 50% of the Milotic here. And now a free flip turn into the Galarian Slowking. And yeah, as you said, that Excadrill could easily come in right here, right now, and pressure instantaneously.
We can see this not actually running any fighting coverage for the Ursaluna, but I don't think that's going to really matter. Like, you get some chip damage on the Ursaluna every time it switches in, and that's a slow Pokemon. It does not want to be taking chip.
Well, so if you think about it, Brick Break, right, 75 base power, super effective to 150. Earthquake, 100 base power stab is 150, so it's actually equal in strength. So
yeah,
you might as well just click Earthquake. Then you don't risk running into like a Choppleberry or a Weakness Policy or anything else. You just get the same damage off.
I can see it being maybe a free hit KO, but I mean, it's ground not weak to. Am I misremembering? Is it rock that's weak to fighting, not ground?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm misremembering. But it's still, like, it does not want to be taking too many.
And we do actually see the Iron Head on the Rotom switch in, instead of going straight for that Earthquake. So trying to make some read, and that read certainly did not pay off in this particular case.
I'm wondering
I'm not
if Zach
sure what. I guess the
there.
Glastrier is the only read you were trying to make there.
I wonder if Zach was making a read on the Iron Head, or if they just genuinely forgot that Mold Breaker is an ability that Excadrill gets.
No, this Rotom is not impacted by Earthquake. It's got Levitate.
And the Excadrill's Mold Breaker.
Yeah, Levitate takes priority.
Does it? Because
when the Rotom's got Ability Shield, it does.
Oh right. Oh, we don't know that it's got an Ability Shield. That switching makes a lot more sense now.
And maybe give some in for like now that the Rotom's in, it does naturally outspeed an Excadrill outspeeds normally. So I'm a little surprised not even to see the Earthquake be clicked, but maybe saw how much the Ironhead did, thinks it's maybe even a Shookaberry Rotom would prevent an Oko, and then you could just die at a Hydro Pump. So, but Rotom goes straight for a Volt Switch. Says, I see your Excadrill, and I know it's not staying in against me. Gets 40% off on an Urshifu coming in. Somehow we knew that it didn't have a great switch into, so, or the entire team didn't have a great switch into, so that damage is helpful for sure, moving on to the later portion of the game.
It's also possible that Mike may have realized that if the Rotom's wanted to switch in on a Mold Breaker Excadrill, that it's probably got some way of bypassing the Mold Breaker.
Yeah.
So this could have been Zach reading that Mike's gonna understand this.
Yeah, I mean, these are two very good coaches for sure, and both very good players who are, getting a lot more information than is just being presented to them, based on even just what switched in and how quickly they went into it. You can often get a read on, what the other person might be thinking.
I don't think Glastrier is going to go for Terra Blast here. Like,
I mean, Excadrill seems a little free. Skeletor seems a little free.
Yeah, Ansi seems a little free as well.
But what about a Swords Dance?
I could see Swords Dance. I could also see just going straight for its signature move. Oh, it doesn't have the
It
signature
doesn't
move.
have it. Yeah.
Uh,
It needs
probably
a
just
really
Hyper
bad grass type to sit on its back in order to get that.
Yeah.
You're out here thinking VGC too much.
I really am. I really am. I'm traumatized by the dual horse meta from a year ago.
Honestly, the Trick Room with the Calyrex Shadow or Ice Rider or whatever it's called was
Yeah.
one of my favorite teams ever built, so I get that. To Play's question about SDing into a Skeledirge, you still, I mean, it hasn't Terra'd, so you don't necessarily know what Terra type it's going to be, but you still can just slam it with a ground type move. It's not like it appreciates taking an Earthquake or high horsepower or whatever this thing gets.
I believe
So
it's
do you
high
see the
horsepower.
sub? Scald's going to come out. Is this even going to break the sub? It does not. But no setup here, just straight for a Terra Blast.
The
I'm not really
Glacier does
actually
not
happy
have setup on it.
Yeah. I was thinking, like, as soon as I saw the substitute, I did not expect this thing to have setup because it needs to have some sort of coverage for the Skeledirge.
It's running Throat Chop and Icicle Crash as its two remaining moves.
Throat Chop makes a lot more sense than high horsepower because it prevents short songs.
It also means it gets walled by Diancie, though.
It does. And Diancie can just freely spam Diamond Storms against this thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at the team, and if you got a specially defensive Diancie with Diamond Storm, you just click Diamond Storm against the Glastria or probably pretty much any of the either of the two physical attackers and just start setting up your defenses. I mean, you risk taking headlong rushes or earthquakes from the Ursaluna, but Diancie's bulk is pretty hefty, and if you're EV to outspeed an Ursaluna, you can probably get +1 and tank at least 2 earthquakes or high horsepowers.
Did Ursaluna not get Headlong Rush?
Yeah,
Okay.
headlong rush, yeah.
I don't remember. The mons that got it confuse me.
Yeah, Ursaluna got headlong rush, I think, in Legends Arceus? I think it might have been the first one to get it.
That sounds correct. The sub is broken, so time to go out into the Galarian Slowking to eat that Scald here. And the big question is going to be, how do you react to the Galarian Slowking staring you down here? Do you just go for healing? Slowking does have the option to set up like T-Spikes or something.
Did we see the ability on this thing?
Do you see what?
Did we see the ability on the Milotic?
It's Marvel Scale.
Yeah. It is Marvel Scale. Okay, so I think they might be looking at this as the opportunity they wanted to get this status.
Although if it is toxic, then that's not ideal. Psychic Noise, of course, going to prevent any healing for a couple of turns here.
I mean, at this point, you just swap out, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Flip Turn's fairly free.
You saw that you were faster.
I cannot imagine a world in which Slowking is faster than a Milotic without a Trick Room being set up.
It's in the name. But the risk that you run is if you click Flip Turn here, it just goes for the Chilly Reception and just sets up Trick Room. But if you go for Dragon Tail, it is a higher priority than the Trick Room moves, so you can pretty much phase there. Yeah, there it is. But it's not faster than Chilly Reception. It's
so
faster than
out.
Trick Room.
And there
That
is a fairy type, so Dragon Tail's not 100% free.
That is interesting.
But
I've
I don't
never
think
actually
he's going
looked
for
at.
creature.
I've never looked at Shady Reception's priority.
I think it's
I
just
just
0.
always,
I think it's just neutral priority. It's
I
just that
always
Slowking
assumed
is
it,
really slow.
I always assumed it was the same as Trick Room.
No. I think Chilly Reception is 0. It just is on mons that are slow.
Did they just want to say that we never want to see this Pokemon having Trick Room on its moveset? Is that just what they were trying to say?
I mean, I'm really confused why they even gave Galarian Slowking Chilly Reception. Like, that move doesn't make any sense to me on it and not on regular Slowking, for instance. Like, if you're going to give it to one, I don't understand why you didn't give it to the other.
I'm more confused as to why a Darkrai came in off of a Trick Room being set up.
Trick Room was not set up.
They went Chilly Reception, and they got Dragon Tailed into Darkrai.
Oh, right,
So they didn't really mean to. Darkrai, though, getting a Dark Pulse off on the flip turn here. So Milotic is down to a little under 50%. It's going to have to figure out a way to recover later. But Darkrai, if it is Scarfed and outspeeds the Urshifu, Dark Pulse is certainly not coming anywhere near killing. And if it's not Scarfed, the Urshifu can out-prioritize and outspeed it here. And would be able to fire off a pretty safe and free U-turn to get the momentum right back into the hands of the Virginia Victinis. For the second time in 2 battles, we have not seen a kill for a very long time into this fight. Though, in this case, neither of the coaches has announced that they are using their differential week. So this is a standard battle in terms of the points being allocated afterwards.
Looks like we're in for a third really long game.
Yeah, I know. Lock in. I think once things start going down, though, they'll start falling quite quickly.
I think
early part of the game.
not hitting the field as well is kind of shocking. Like this Torn in particular,
we are an unbelievable amount of turns into the game, but it has been a decent amount of time for there to be, no mon under pretty much 50%. I mean, the Milotic is technically at like 45, but pretty close, and it has recovery.
I'm just wondering what the Torn was actually brought for. Like, what is this thing they're switching to? The only Pokemon we haven't seen hit the field is...
Yeah, I mean, Torn is a off-the-ground thing. Ursaluna, obviously, if you look at the rest of the matchup, they don't even have a ground resist. It does have the Focus Blast to try to catch that Ursaluna, so that is an option for it to have been brought. I think it's just also a generically good Pokemon that does a lot of damage and puts a lot of pressure throughout a game, so... Even if you don't have something specifically, or like, this is why I'm bringing it in, or I'm going to bring it in every time on this specific mon, it still can be a generically decent mon to just have. With Regenerator, it can have a bunch of extra switch-ins as well.
The Regenerator is exactly why I thought we would have seen it a lot sooner. Like, normally you see this thing quite early on.
We did see a knockoff to... And knock off the Lagging Tail. Which is a really interesting item for the Slowking to never have managed to trick on anything else. And yeah, that Life Orb on the Torn is going to put in a ton of work, and suddenly things might start falling. Really out of nowhere.
I wonder if you just stay in and go for another knockoff here.
I wonder if Mike is currently calculating whether or not Bleak Windstorm can kill. Knockoff might not.
I think knockoff might be safer though, because they might be tempted to save this thing.
Does go for another knockoff. It doesn't kill. A little more Life Orb, and there's the Trick Room. So
Yeah, full transparency, I'm kind of tired, which is why I thought Chilly Reception instead of Trick Room.
Suddenly the Slowking... Now, it's interesting that it's Lagging Tail with Trick Room, because Lagging Tail doesn't actually make you slower. It just makes you go second. So even if they were in Trick Room, they actually still would have gone second for any neutral priority move, which is
that
a little bit...
might have been the intention to trick it onto the Diancie.
Yeah, but then we didn't see that trick earlier when there was a couple of chances to trick it somewhere. Even onto the Milotic, it would have been useful. But now the Slow King does get a chance to fire off something here. And that something is Chilly Reception. Now you have to be careful since you know that knockoff is the freest click now that you know that the Torn has stayed in.
How important are those leftovers? Not important enough is the answer.
Yeah, it is the only Dark Resist outside of Darkrai, and I don't think you're going to go Darkrai on a Horn even in Trick Room. So we do see the Glastrier come in. It is the slowest Pokemon that, is going to be on the field here, since nothing on the Virginia Victini side is going to outslow it. So it's going to get a couple attacks off here.
Then this is going to be so good for them, and it's going to be a massive turning point. They did not make the read, so now we're going to find out.
They do have another chance to Throat Chop here. You do potentially allow for a Terra before getting off the super effective damage, but you would still stop the Torch Song.
Almost every item is now known to Zach as well on Max.
Well, that's what happens when you have a million leftovers.
Yeah. 3 leftovers and a life orb have been revealed.
Yes. These ones are healing, this one is hurting itself.
But then also
our net HP is equal, but on different Pokemon. I mean, here's the thing, the Torn actually is probably at full HP, despite taking the Life Orb chip, so really not a big problem for the Torn to take a little bit of extra chip here. We do see the Skeletor switch out, trying to scout the possible set on this Glastrier. Glastrier does reveal the Throat Chop. It does about 30%. Obviously, Icicle Crash looks really free here, but you know your opponent is going to try to stall out Trick Room turns, so do you make a read?
You've seen Icicle Crash, you've seen Throat Chop, you've seen Substitute. Now, switching again is just giving them a chance to set up the Substitute so they're prepared for once the Trick Room ends. And if I'm Zach, that's what I'm going for. I'm just going for the security here. I'm like, I know you're going to switch.
Does make the read, though, into the Terra Blast, and is this the second to last turn of Trick Room or the last turn of Trick Room? Well, it actually just kills. So, who needs safety when you can instead just Myrtlate?
There were only 3 rolls in which the Milotic would have lived.
That was the last turn of Trick Room.
That was the last turn of Trick Room, so... a smart play, in my opinion, because otherwise the Milotic would get a recover off, and then you're in a really rough spot. Even though you have a sub up, you just can't break through it, so... Milotic is down, and it is now Deancey coming in. Trick Room is gone. Mike just confirming that for themselves and for us, which I appreciate. The Glastrier is going to switch out into this Diamond Storm.
And the Gawdbear is going to eat that up like it just didn't even notice it happened.
Gawdbear, Make It Rain looks fairly safe here, since the Skeletor just really doesn't want to switch on a Shadow Ball. Excadrill could come in,
I mean,
but that's still a tough play to make, I feel like, so... Especially because you don't really know a ton about this Gholdengo set yet.
This just feels like a pick your sack moment.
I don't know if it's a full sack. I don't know if Gholdengo can OHKO something, but it's certainly going to take a huge hit if the Make It Rain does come out.
Remind me, who's the terror option on Mike's team?
Skeldridge and DNC can both Terra.
Good and Dancy, okay.
We do see the Torn is now in. If this is Choice Scarf Goldango, it would outspeed, outprioritize, and take out the Torn if you leave it in right now, despite being at -1. If it is not Choice Scarf Goldango, then you do get off a big attack, potentially a knockoff. I don't know if it would kill, but it would do a ton of damage, potentially kill a Goldango. And if you're worried about a Culverberry, which is exactly what the Goldango was running last time, you could run Heat Wave or click Heat Wave here instead of knockoff, trying to get a little bit of a safer click. Probably does a little bit more damage. This looks like a more specially offensive Torn anyway. We do see that is the click of choice.
Yeah.
And the Goldango goes down, and it is now 5-5.
5-5. All the
and-
bulky Pokemon are still around except for Milotic.
Yep. But Torn is chipped here, and we do see the Darkrai is going to come in. This with the Milotic gone, Darkrai is looking even scarier. There's just fewer and fewer things that can realistically, happily come in against it. And not with its pretty wide coverage move pool, it can kind of pick and choose what it wants to go for here.
I mean, I wonder if there's a world where you stay in and just see how fast this Darkrai is.
And it looks like Mike might be agreeing with you here in terms of doesn't look like wants to go for a switch here, would rather scout out some information, and the Darkrai does prove to be faster. Tornadus goes down here after picking up a kill. Canadian Sacrilegious is up 5-4, and we do see the Life Orb on the Darkrai. I think we might have seen that before, so we know it's not Scarfed.
I mean, you just go into Urshifu here, right?
That does feel like the most reasonable option to me. I mean, hovering over this Deancey feels odd. I don't think Flash Cannon kill. It might though. Flash Cannon might kill a Deancey. Obviously, once you Terra Fighting, then that doesn't kill. But if this thing has like Psychic, then that could be a problem. So,
I mean, just U-turn feels so free. In what world does the Darkrai stay in?
I do not think there is a planet where the Darkrai stays in here. So yeah, U-turn looks like the freest click.
If you click close combat, you're just letting the Slowking come in.
Yeah, and you don't really want to let that happen because the Slowking is not healthy right now.
Yeah.
It's not like maybe about to die, but it isn't healthy, and you don't want to let it just be in. As the Glastrier is the choice here, takes a little bit more chip damage. Now that leftovers are gone, it is gonna stick.
Yeah, I think it heals from that. I don't think it even took enough damage to over the heal barrier.
And the question is, what do you do against this Glastrier right now? Because it does feel like Excadrill is good, but with that Rotom having the ability shield and seeing that it was the answer last time, you wonder if, do you just click rocks? There is no removal, so like this would be a chance to get them up and they would stay.
I'm trying to see what the switch in would have been to Diamond Storm this time. The Goldango's down, not really anything there wants to take it.
Yeah, a little surprised to see the hesitance with rocks here. Obviously, it looks like Earthquake is really spammable, so after this Rotom is revealed to be Ability Shield, then, I think the Excadrill now has more information and knows that Earthquake isn't as spammable. But I think rocks would have been really useful because this has been a switch-heavy game. And there's the rocks now, but now that you're setting up the stealth rocks, you did get the information, the confirmation of the ability shield, but you are risking this thing to you're opening up to Willow, Hydro.
That is bad. Yeah.
The Willow misses stay in week 2.
We've moved on, and we will let our willows hit.
I'm struggling to see what breaks Rotom.
I mean, Urshifu can do it, but if in doing it, it probably has to take a Will-O-Wisp as well.
Yeah.
Unless you can get some more damage off on the Rotom here. Rapid Spin being the strongest thing that an Excadrill can click is crazy.
This has just become an incredibly difficult hill for Mike to climb, I think.
As the Rotom Wash does pick up a kill here. Landing a Will-O-Wisp and a Hydro Pump, so very well-trained Rotom. Now we do see the Terra Water Diancie.
Are you sure that's not a blunder policy on the Rotom?
I mean, they're just taking chances because they don't have. They've got the ability shield, so they're just taking chances, and that's more impressive to me. If you blunder policy, you just won't miss. It makes it safer.
Yeah. For those who are relatively new to TBL, the blunder policy joke goes back. How many seasons now, Gold? Is it 4 seasons?
Whenever it was released, basically immediately.
Yeah. To Gold putting blunder policy on any Pokemon and wanting to get the speed boost, and instead just never missing a move.
And that was like Sting Primarina. That was like Hydro Rotoms. I was like running Hypnosis stuff with Noctowl. I was hoping to miss moves. I was trying to run intentionally inaccurate moves and just never did, and just kept dying because I wasn't fast enough. But we do see the Diancie is the Pokemon that comes in here against the Rotom, already having revealed both Willow and Hydro Pump.
I mean, this is just reinforcing my thought of this being especially defensive Diancie relying on Diamond Storms to boost defense.
We do see that Diamond Storm might be the clicked move here. Terra Water would make it change its weaknesses dramatically. But you've already revealed Diamond Storm, so your opponent knows that Will-O-Wisp is still, not a bad option to put on the Diancie.
I mean, first thinking about bringing it in against the Darkrai, then thinking about bringing it in against the Rotom, and actually doing so, like, they're playing this like especially defensive Diancie. That Willow is going to hurt 2 out of the 3 offensive moves.
And the other one is a ground type move, which doesn't hit the Rotom. So.
Yeah. I mean, they get the +2.
They do get the proc here, so Diamond Storm giving the boost. But with the burn, Body Press going to be significantly reduced damage.
I think they might need at least +4.
Not after that discharge.
Yeah.
Not going to survive another attack here.
They didn't even get the +2. I'm just going over every Pokemon in my mind and just thinking, like, what actually breaks this? And it might actually just have to be the Urshi.
Yeah, I mean, you need a little bit of chip on it maybe, so the Diamond Storm's helping out get you, 2 turns of damage, but at this point, Urshifu, nope, choosing to go it's not Spectrier. Skeledirge, man, it's been a long day, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, there's still 5 Hydro Pumps left? Oh, no. 6? I think
and with that Terra having been used, all of a sudden you're not able to Terra this out of a water weakness.
And now I bet they're wishing that they did have the blunder policy.
Gets the critical hit Torch Song as well, so immediately rewarded for the Hydro miss.
I mean,
I think a +1 Shadow Ball probably kills, and it feels like you kind of have to go for that.
You just gotta go for Shadow Ball here. I don't think you can afford to roll the dice 2 more times on the Hydro Pump missing.
No, and Rotom not even forced to Hydro here, like absolutely could discharge to start trying to get Paras even if they don't, get the kill on you. So definitely a tough spot for Mike to be in.
I mean, I think even just switching as well is a genuinely decent option.
And there's a discharge, and which does get the para.
Oh.
So a missed hydro into a discharge with a para, and the full para,
Oh my god!
immediately punishing.
And looking at that damage, it wouldn't have broken the sub on the next discharge. They would have been forced to go for Hydro Pump.
Instead, it does look like you'll survive a hydro here. Volt switch coming out, does choose to go for another sub here. Gets a critical hit on the volt switch. Oh man, all of a sudden this has gone horribly wrong. And like I said, at some point this game was gonna just like everything was gonna die very quickly, and we're starting to see that. Sub comes out here.
This is perfect opportunity to get a Flame Orb buff as well on the Ursa.
Maybe that was why there was hesitation on the Shadow Ball, just because you didn't want to let the Ursaluna in for completely free.
I mean, they did that anyway, it looks like.
Well, it's not like at least you have a substitute, so you know you're guaranteed to fire off one chance of an attack. I mean, I guess you're not guaranteed to fire it off.
Is that a speed tie, or does Leftovers always proc before Flame Orb?
Leftovers should always proc before Flame Orb.
Right.
Heal items before damage or status.
As this thing gets down to about 50%. So we are seeing that the Ursaluna, you know, maybe not going to sweep the rest of the roster. Choosing to run, I don't know if that's right, because you could have scored a point here. Ursaluna going to be credited with the last 2 kills, as it was the last mon on the field. Yeah, it was a 5-0, I guess. So hard to get 2 kills or 3 kills, but a little surprising. That felt a little premature. I mean, you do have a choice scarfed Urshi, and everything was kind of getting chipped to the point where that was going to be a possible out, but
It does 10% to the Glacier. I was never winning that game.
Yo, GG's, man.
does 10% to a Glacier?
Yeah, it does nothing to Glacier with close combat. Yep.
That's crazy. I was picturing Wicked Blow anyway, but that's crazy. Same energy, really.
Wicked Blow wouldn't kill Darkrai, I don't think. It doesn't really matter. I'm just incredibly frustrated. I'm sorry. That discharge into full power just completely destroyed me.
I'm sorry about that, man.
I mean, it is what it is, you know.
I took
Last
that
week it
torch
was
on
a
crit
Will-O-Wisp.
personally. I took that torch on crit personally. I said, I'm clicking discharge here.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, man. I just...
Yeah, definitely what a way to end this long day of battles for all of us. Three back-to-back games was crazy, but
I was going to say, it was 3 back-to-back games that felt like 6.
I know, and all of them were intense and long. Canadian Server Ledges, congratulations, Zach. Do pick up 3 points for this victory. Virginia Victinis, despite the loss, still sitting in 3rd place in the division, so that would get you to playoffs if the season ended right now. It does not. It will not for a while. As long as these battles felt, we've got 7 more weeks of them. So, yeah, hopefully, again, I just don't have the energy to really do a full interview of people. I apologize. Yeah. Hopefully people enjoyed this content today, though. There's a lot going on. We had tons of battles. Congratulations to all of our winners. The London Shockwave, the Atlanta Victory Stars, and the Canadian Server Ledges, all picking up victories today. We do have another game tomorrow, another one Friday, and then one more on Sunday to wrap up week 3. So definitely stay tuned. Keep an eye on the TBL. We are coming at you fast and hard here. There's a lot of battles all the time. But from us here, again, I just don't have the stamina to keep going. Thank you all so much for watching. Oh, what a day. Take care, everybody.